Welcome to session 17 of Traveler Starstruck. Uh, we have a total of only 4 players today for playing Captain Derwat, Ronnie, Tomo, and Virgil. Jen and Richard are not here. But when we last left the entire player character group, they had a rather intense and sometimes funny intervention in the common area of the bridge at the front part of the Steppenwolf, and more or less came to more or less came to an understanding. Virgil was thinking about doing pretty wild stuff. I don't think he actually acted on anything, but he was talking even about trying to take over the Argosy Dawn, the whole Argosy Dawn shipping company, or the art trade. Um, he did talk about the fact that now you may be in generally higher risk than before when you were honest traders, but the rest of the group prevailed to dissuade Virgil from those ideas. Is that a fair summary of the situation?
Sounds right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair, and hopefully you can continue. You have been given a kind of commission by Mr. Liu, a gang leader who's acting as a kind of patron, and he wants you to go off to the to another star system. Whoops, I'm changing the map, but I should also change your view. Okay, frontier sector map plus some other world maps and pictures and things. But you're in the Flustona system on Flustona. That's pretty much getting to be your favorite planet, which you've visited 3 times. Mr. Liu asks you to deliver 15 tons of freight to Cleando, for which he'll pay 10,000 per credit per ton, which is a standard price for illegal or risky cargo, in personal freight ventures. But it's just freight. You're not asking what it is. And from there, he wants you to jump to a secret fuel depot in an empty hex, which is actually run by the Red Hand, or a consortium of Red Hand gangs. And from there you can jump to one of the 2 stars, two parsecs away from that, and then to get to the final planet, which is called Curtolo. Um, and well, stats are to come, but it might be a couple of weeks before you get there. Overall, it saves you 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, it's 4 jumps owing to the fuel depot. If you had no fuel depot and used only known star systems, you'd have to go to, well, Jereba or Cleando, doesn't matter. Then for Stego, Frenesi, Aristino, so it'd be 5 weeks instead of 4. So it saves some time. But as
Can
I
I
said,
ask? Can I ask a
yes,
question or make a statement?
yes.
If we jump from secret spot here into this A class starport here, Paciento, um, would would they like be have the ability to go? Hang on, you've jumped in from some unknown jump vector. Would we be better off going to this place, which has got like a lower starport level, so it probably has less air traffic control, and then we can do a regular
Uh,
jump across to.
Starport
I'm trying to
level,
look at the law level.
yeah, starport level
So
or law level. Law level might matter more. Now, the thing to look at is in the planet folder.
so they're both law level 8.
Oh, yeah, you found the sector map for it. Which sector is it? Uh,
So this would be F. Um,
You're
and I think
converging
one
into
of
sector
them,
F.
I think Zabura was a pretty high.
Jeruba, yes.
Jereba was a very high law level, so that's why we're not going there. Yep.
Um, okay, sorry, it's the subsectors folder. You're seeing all this in subsector F.
Yep.
Oh, there it is. Okay, yeah, I had a real old school printout of that subsector. Um, Pacienzo law level B. Oh, criminals don't like that. That's 11. Paziento is law
That's
level
tech.
11. Oh, sorry, tech. You're right. Law level is 8 for Paziento, and for the other one, Aristino.
Aristino's also law level 8, but it's tech level 3, so maybe Brian does have a point.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
go to the C starport.
Yeah, that's pretty goofy. That's pretty goofy low tech level, but they have their own atmosphere, thin, I think, and so I think they've remodeled this as a pastoral agricultural garden world. Maybe they shun tech for some reason, and the trade codes showing are the Traveler 5 system. So some of these trade codes are pretty non-existent in Traveler Mongoose, but it seems to say that it's hot, non-industrial agricultural garden, a satellite world, and TR, whatever that is. Oh, I did keep a table of the Traveler 5 rules. So I do have a Traveler 5 rules folder to tell us what these esoteric trade classes are. TR means tropical. So it's got hot and tropical. Okay. But for whatever reason, I think they're leaving this world in a really pastoral state. You might have pockets of high technology, if it comes to life-saving surgery or something. But yeah, so you might have a better time. The law levels are comparable, but um, if you want to, have a border border control or I mean customs with low tech, you're probably better off going by Aristino or Paziento, or even uh, pretending that you came from Aristino. But the trouble is, yeah,
Does
yeah, I think you might be better off jumping to Aristino and then Curtolo
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
overall.
I was going to ask, how much time does that
We
add?
can have a good. Sorry, Tony, you go.
How much additional time does that add to the journey?
Oh, there's no extra time. Aristino and Paziento are equally valid paths. They're just
Yeah.
diagonal paths, and then they reconverge at Curtolo. So there's no time difference. It's just a tech difference. Law
Okay.
levels are the same, fairly high. Uh, whoops. Subsector table
With
and
what went on at uh the rocks hitting that station, I can't remember the name of it in the system. Are we going to be anywhere near that?
No, that's way over here somewhere.
are you talking
Okay.
about what the space station over Yanto?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a while back.
Yeah.
That's way to
Yeah.
spinward.
Yeah. So is that, because there's obviously, I suspect there may have been an attack, that they may be a bit more vigilant. Um,
This
was
strange
Yeah,
ghoul are attacking.
a tech level 3 C class starport planet is less scrutiny of pirate jump points
Well, we
than
could go into the A class starport for now, and then when we have the legal art, we can go the safer way.
well. I'm just my only point is we have a jump to ship. The authorities will know we have a jump to ship. If we jump 3 or more, um, a jump 3 or more distance, then
Hmm.
they might think, "Hello, what's going on here?"
yeah.
They
Yeah.
may not
Yeah.
they may
That,
not ask exactly what your ship capacity is. If you want to pretend to be jump 3, then you jump
Well,
from
then
Jereba,
then let's
or
jump
yeah,
outside of the 100 diameters, far enough away that they won't pick up our jump signature.
yeah. Depending on how much they monitor their own system, sometimes you can gas and go at a gas giant. Now the main world data I think will reveal if there's a gas
So
giant or not.
pets senior so wouldn't have one, but we would
Uh,
probably want to visit the regular world.
Well,
PBG,
you're the skipper. You make that
yeah.
decision.
Paziento has no gas giant according to this, but Aristino does. The PBG column is population number of bases and number of gas giants. I think this is all slightly adapted. I have to adapt the Traveler 5 generator a little bit to the Mongoose rules. It's not quite the same, but Paziento has no gas giant. Probably has water though. But if you're
Yep.
trying to avoid the main world and land just on um, just
Well, I
gas
just
and
want
go,
to avoid their scanners.
yeah, yeah,
We can go to the main world as long as they don't know
yeah.
that we
As you
came
can see,
from
surface water and
middle of
anything blue
nowhere.
has surface water. Uh, but if you want gas giants, Paziento doesn't have one. Aristino does. Well, you can tell from the dots in the upper right corner. So that's an issue. Paziento might be a little less friendly than Aristino, but if you go to, well, you can go to Paziento and pretend you came from Aristino, or fake that you have a higher uh, jump engine rating than you actually do, and then you can come from Jereba or Cleando. So if you came from Cleando and pretend that you have a jump 4 drive, you might, they're not asking about the specs of your ship. They're just asking about your cargo and
or
the
file or
legalities.
file a or file a flight plan for the long route around, and
Yeah,
just say
or
we
we could
misjumped.
say we came from the um not the Republic side, but the opposite of the we came from like Gobi or Wheaton or somewhere. Like
You think?
ignore all that. Say we came this way and we came to one of these and then we came say here to here
Oh,
to
sorry. Go
here.
ahead and
So let's say we came from Krept or whatever. Kreet.
Yeah, but in our
That's why we won't
do we
jump
have
to
to?
the main world or jump out
yeah,
and then we're
Oh,
fly on in.
okay, that's fine. All right.
Krepet looks like dense-tated atmosphere, tech level 2. Oh my, there's a whole lot of loser worlds, but Doc um, um, Mr. Liu is interested in the in the low law worlds, high crime worlds like Curtolo. Between Cleando and Curtolo, you have more law-abiding planets, which he basically said was bad. Law is bad. Um, so go to Paziento, but fake some other path, or fake that you have a higher jump rating than you actually do, or go to Aristino where the tech level is so low they probably aren't able to detect a thing about you. They probably can't detect your radio signals. You probably have to
Um,
put out semaphore flags out on your ship as you're landing and signal to them with semaphore.
yeah. Question.
Tony Richard or not Richard? Mantar, you got any ideas?
I was just going to ask a question. That if any of these worlds that would, that may be high tech ones, or as the high tech ones, any of the people on the list that Brienne gave us on those worlds that
Uh,
could help with any difficulty?
yeah, very possibly. I can sort of generate a name for somebody in Paziento who has um, a high level. Now, there's probably been traffic between Curtolo and, going from Curtolo to Spinward before. So I'm going to say that there are some contact names um, on both Aristino and Paziento that could probably get you out of a jam if you contact them. And one handout I want to direct your attention to is in the background folder, which talks about, like a socialist federation is not supposed to have like classes or hierarchies, but they sure do anyway. So under the background folder, if you click social ranks, that's oops, that's not much of a magnification, but anyway, under social ranks, it sort of tells you the ranks or levels of the high level citizens of both the Frontier and the Verdulant Federation. So if you get to social standing 10, you're a model comrade. If you're social standing 11, you've probably gotten various awards for your labor and work, and then you become a coordinator, administrator, a representative of a sector of a world, and then a planetary president, and higher than that is the grand president of the Verdulan Federation, although his posters, he's not a vain man, so he's not creating a cult of personality, and his posters are not plastered all over the place. So those are the ranks in the Verdulan Federation. So if you probably see people with
Weirdos.
titles like coordinator and administrator, which means that they are big movers for at least a portion of a planet.
So I'm an industrialist then?
Yeah, or you came from an industrialist background. It doesn't mean you necessarily have to inherit the family thing, but that's your social standing, and you've rubbed shoulders with people of that level. But as you know, if the Frontier Federation is run in democratic principles, there's a lot of social mobility. So I just tried to adapt the social standing of Traveler to this particular setting and show that there's slight differences. And the robots on Fredeo don't really care about social standing at all, or at least they're not. They're going to learn about it later, but it doesn't affect them now.
Not yet, anyway.
No, wait till they're corrupted by people like Tomo or Virgil, and then you'll see they might set up a stratified hierarchy as well. But you do have some help to get you out of a jam if you go to either of those planets, and names to be determined. But they are administrator or coordinator rank in the Verdulan socialist system.
Well, Captain wants cargo. So
Yeah, planning ahead. Planning ahead. Mr. Liu said that there are shortages becoming apparent in that knot of planets that are past the Mu Gap, or in Verdulan they call it the Mu Breccio, but that's what it is. The Mu Gap. So past
How
that
much
line,
cargo did he give us again?
he wanted you
we'd
to
have
haul 15 tons of freight to Cleando.
And we have
You have 63 in
30.
total, so you'd have
Yeah.
48 tons free.
okay.
Do you want to find something to trade on Flostono to go to Cleando or further out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe something speculative as well, if we can.
Okay, I did pre-roll some speculative
Speculative's
cardo.
my middle name,
Okay,
Virgil.
all right. Well, speculate on this. I don't know how accurate the trade factor is, but I did some pre-generated trade generations. Let's see. Okay, Flostono to Cleando. Here's what it looks like. I'm going to put it in the. Oh, okay. Well, the recording has caught some of that, but I'm also going to post it in the Discord chat for you. So here's what it looks like. I hope it formats okay. Looks like that. So in the Discord chat, I sort of calculated Flostono to Cleando. Availability of passengers does not seem to be much of a problem. Oh, you don't get many high passengers this time, which is because Cleando is a fairly low population world in the thousands, 3,000, I think. Um, do you want to see the Cleando map? I did make a Cleando map with, or I have a Cleando handout already with stats and everything about it. So if you go to campaign info planets, you can click Cleando. Let me remove the Flostona map because that's not an issue anymore.
It's
I'll
just
just get
going to
rid
be
of the
a pass
Flostono
through again, so
stuff.
aren't we? Just passing through.
What can we?
Well, we got to drop off for one thing, so why aren't we dropping off multiple things? As my thought.
Mm,
Not that
Yeah.
there's literally one island in the southern hemisphere or one city in the southern hemisphere. So it's not
Um,
like
Sorry, let me post the main map of Cleando. Oh, juggling windows here. Planets. Cleando. Okay, not bad. I can make it a little bigger. Okay, Cleando. So let me just, well, okay. Good quality starport level B, world size 2. That's about a quarter of Earth. Standard atmosphere, despite that, 40% water. Population on the ground, approximately 3,100. Law level 0, tech level 8, which is actually pre-stellar. By themselves, they wouldn't be able to support jump drives and things, but they import technology. Traveler advisories. Well, I'll repeat this, but it's a hot world. It has some insect pests to watch out for, and it has a message that says basically they're lawless. So you heard this same kind of message from Prenglaro, from the planet Prenglaro. And so it's a haven for crime. And the only settlement, the capital only settlement is a town called Chrono. Uh, and population, okay, yeah, and that's basically it. Um, Now, if you do the trade, if you look at the trade opportunities, what came out was, um, well, because of the low population. Oh, their trade codes. Did I put their trade codes in? I don't think I put it on. Why didn't I?
it includes some of them.
Oh, just yeah, I think it's just low population. LO. I didn't
Yeah.
write it on the map, so that's why
Oh, is it not poor? I was
uh,
hoping Cleando was poor.
the Mongoose rules folder will have a table of trade codes, and you can tell to be poor. It has to have atmosphere 2 to 5, but it has something other than that. Yeah, its atmosphere is 6, so it doesn't classify as poor.
The atmosphere is too
Yeah,
good.
but the equatorial region is fairly hot and dries out into mainly deserts. It does have some jungles in some latitudes, depending on hydrographic conditions, but it has desert and mountains, so it says it's mainly a hot area. And the uh, the only town, as you can see, is off more to latitude 60, 65 of the world. So that's almost in the Arctic Circle. Well, where the Arctic Circle would be on Earth, or Antarctic Circle. So that's Cleando. From that, it's hard to tell what would be a good trade factor. Well, basic raw materials, basic consumables are probably a good thing to send to Cleando. Luxury consumables, not so much because they don't have enough of a population base to buy them. Spices don't seem to give a very good trade factor either. Wood, not needed. Illegal drugs.
Here's where we want to sell the illegal drugs,
Yeah, they
not buy them.
yeah, it's pretty useless to bring illegal drugs to a lawless world because they can get any illegal thing they want. So just from
Or
that
maybe
table, it
there's
gives you
just
an
no
impression of,
prohibition against.
yeah,
Maybe it's just no prohibition against it, but there's still a market because there is no prohibition. Could
yeah,
we read it
maybe.
that way?
What you can do is if you look at the rules, Justin, as a trader, a broker, has had a bit of experience with this. You could figure
Yeah.
out if you could figure out if you can buy something, if you can buy one of these things for a good price on Flostono and sell them on Cleando, you can figure it out. I have to excuse myself for just 1 minute. I'm keeping the recording on. Just a moment, please. Let
Okay,
me
so
try
we have
to
48.
figure it a bit.
Uh, This is advanced machine. Non-industrial. Okay, so we're buying advanced machine parts. Justin wants that.
What about fuel?
We're gonna. We got a deal for half price fuel. I mean,
No, no,
it's
no,
still
no, 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 no. What
overpriced.
I mean is things like petrol or diesel equivalents. Gas, petrol slash gas is American for the Americans.
So that would be
Diesel.
But
petrochemicals. They don't
that
have that
just be under
available in
basic
this world.
consumables. We couldn't haul it in any quantities to make any difference.
So this is the difference between common consumables and the basic consumables, is that their prices are different. Here it's 2,000 a ton, but on the Mongoose 2 charts, it's under common consumables and it's only for 500 a ton.
Yeah, we went through that problem before.
Yeah. Um, what else?
I can
Probably
edit that,
the
by the way. Let me edit it. It's the only price difference I noticed.
I think I saw a different one. That was weird. Manufactured goods. So there's no basic machine parts. There's common industrial goods, and that's for. Oh no, that's for
It's
10.
manufactured things. It's not tools. It's not industrial tools or
Yeah,
parts.
and then common manufactured goods is for 20,000, and Mongoose too, other than 10.
Yeah, but we've done this a few times, so you can probably have a good
Yeah,
feel for what will turn a profit going from a low pop from Flostono, which is almost garden level, to a low pop world. Exotic foods might be good on a lawless world. If there's a lot of criminal gangs with cash to spend, they get into luxuries, and so anything that says luxuries. But regular consumables is not doesn't fetch as much of a price in Mongoose Second Edition. And what was I
What
going to
about
say?
guns?
Yeah, sorry, Tony, go ahead.
What about guns? Guns and things.
Have you heard of the
guns are
phrase?
expensive.
Yeah, have you heard of the phrase "bringing coals to Newcastle"? You're trying to import guns from a high law world or moderate law world to a low law world. So that's called bringing coals to Newcastle, where the town of Newcastle in the UK had plenty of coal. Everybody's faces was black with coal.
Yeah. This is the kind of place we want to bring in drugs and guns.
You're you're you,
Figure
you're
it
not
out.
too you're not very loud, Ronnie. I mean, Mantar.
Yeah, this is the kind of planet you want to bring drugs and guns in, not out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is
Yeah,
Yeah, it's already illegal. It's a source of
Blastono.
illegal things. It's not so profitable to bring illegal things to Cleando. Oh, you're talking about Flostono, right? Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
so when we come back to Flastono with the art, we should pick up drugs
Yes.
from the
Yeah.
planet we're going to sell here at Flastono. We're not going to buy high priced drugs here
Oh
and
dear,
sell them to
drugs.
where we're
Yeah.
to a lawless world where we'll get a low profit for them.
I mean, art is one thing. It's not really illegal to a frontiers person, but drugs are bad, man. I'm gonna have to chart your morality and bring it down to chaotic evil levels,
yeah.
neutral evil,
No,
chaotic evil.
I was actually thinking of taking guns into the lawless rather than taking them out.
No, we want to buy guns there. We want to buy guns and sell them to the amber or red zone worlds.
Yeah. Amber worlds are kind of the high level law level worlds because there's some very high law level worlds in the Verdulan Federation that's bad even for traders, never mind criminals. It's just too much of a legal hassle to do anything, even with the help of the apparatoi, as I described. Um, red zone worlds, there's only a few of them for certain reasons, not a lot of them. But it's up to you. You can always, if you're unsure what is likely to go down well, you can always talk to the apparatoi and tell them where you're ultimately going. Well, right now, as the first jump, you're going to Cleando, and you can get some advice or help from them, which I would probably interpret as a plus on your roll because they'll make suggestions. The whole reason the apparatoi came about was that the Merchants Guild, the Commerz-Gilde or Merchants Guild, of the Verdulan Federation wanted to try to smooth out the problems of the socialist centrally planned economies. They wanted to try to move cargo where it was needed. So they might have an idea on, things that are needed on Cleando, maybe better than you. Do you want to consult the apparatoi? Because they're there to help traders.
I think we should. It would help us plan what cargo we can buy to take there, and on the way there we can make a profit.
Yeah,
Ronnie and the captain haven't put us wrong yet. Much.
Yeah, I know that. I know that, but this
that's
gives us
true.
an idea.
Yeah, most of the time it's good. It's okay, except for that one time where you didn't actually pull a profit. You broke even. There was that one time.
Yeah.
No one talks about that one time. Only Brogan brings
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah, but Brogan is going to needle everybody. He's going to needle Astria about some shit, and he's going to needle you. If you were the broker, or if Ronnie was the broker on something and you only broke even, he's going to make puns about broker and broke even, all day, all the live long day. Especially when you're in jump and you can't walk away from him, or take a walk to the park to forget him or anything. He loves to needle people when you're all trapped in jump together.
Yeah, I know. The thing with that is if he pushes the wrong button, he might find himself going
Yeah,
for a scenic view out the airlock.
We need him. He's our pilot,
yeah.
man. He's actually a decent pilot.
I know that.
Yeah,
I
he's
just, I was just,
he's
I
he's
was
the hot
joking.
shot. He's the hot shot pilot. I'm going to NPC him. I'm going to do justice to Jerry's interpretation of Brogan Riley, unless Ben wants to pick up one of the NPCs and join this game. But
That could be
otherwise,
interesting.
I'm gonna play it like Jerry being Jerry.
Yeah, yeah, I know. I was joking.
Yeah,
That. Hey, Brogan. One day I'm gonna throw you out the airlock.
yeah,
You tell him.
yeah. And I hope I'm doing as good as Jerry, but Jerry would probably make a rejoinder like saying, can you figure out an airlock? Can you figure out an airlock, muscle boy? Your fat fingers can't press the buttons, or some little jibe like that. You
There's
need a wand to press a keypad. Oh, that's cruel, isn't it? You need a special wand to press a keypad because of your fat little fingers.
okay. If I need a wand, I'll just chop your dick off and use that.
Oh boy. Oh,
Oh,
oh
all
boy. Okay.
right, back
That's
off, you
heavy.
two. Back
Yeah,
off.
yeah. I'm gonna get heavy
Do I
use of
have to
this
make
thing
some
here.
sort of
Yeah,
leadership persuade roll?
that's right.
Oh, it
What's
says
this
to
on
me.
here?
Virgil, I don't care who started it.
I store
It's
that as
just take some steps back.
yeah. I store that. Oh, can you even see this? Yes, you can see this. I store this as the very first handout now, the way this game has been going.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Don't
I mean,
even go
it's
there.
friendly. It's just friendly
I
banter.
know. Yeah, I understand. I understand. Okay. So trade. I think you're doing very well on your own. If you want, you can consult the apparatoi because they're there to try to marshal beneficial trade across the Verdulan Federation.
I'm
But
not
let's,
telling the
yeah.
apparatori we're going to some lawless world.
Oh, okay. Well,
Uh-uh.
either they, well, it's your business. You're either jumping to some other place. It's your business. I don't know if they're too nosy. I'm keeping an eye on the Steppenwolf's illegal activities list and seeing if they're
Yep.
going to catch you at one of these, these old historical things. The psionic didn't detect anything from you, as far as you know. Um, but okay, I trust you to try some sort of trade, high-tech things that are obviously things that are cheap on Flastono that can bring a good price, but the low population on Cleando may not even make it a good point to drop off cargo. Do you want to look further? Like your next stop would be that god awful fuel depot in the darkness in hex
Yeah.
1213, and then you hit either Aristino or Paziento. Aristino
For
may,
that fuel depot, maybe some luxury items.
yeah, because
Um,
crooks might have a lot of money to spend. Prices might get
yeah.
inflated.
Like some spices.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, spices. There's some spices that are available. It's like an agricultural product, but I don't know why it says minus
Why are
3 in this
spices?
generator.
No, it's because they're wanted on rich worlds, but they're not.
Hmm.
Okay, never mind. Not
Yeah,
spices.
yeah,
I mean, it's a speculative thing that for the pirate
yeah.
fuel stop
Spices might
is
count as luxury consumables. They go with the luxury consumables. So
Luxury
thieves,
consumables aren't
crooks might
fantastic
have the money to buy
things either.
spices.
they might have money to buy booze
Is
too.
this not a? Is Flastono not agricultural?
It did not
No, it's a water,
reach that level for some reason. If you check the stats in the
like
handout,
a water world. Nowhere to farm, I guess.
yeah, too watery. It does have
Yeah.
some islands which are in the ideal agricultural zone, not tropical, but not enough volume perhaps. But it's classified as rich and almost garden, but not quite.
Well,
And
what? We could probably grab some luxury consumables from one of these worlds and drop it off along with the drugs
yeah,
to
and
Flastono.
if you don't happen to get a good price on Cleando, you can always try again at a later stop in your journey. Um, you're trying to make money at every stop, at every jump, but it's not always possible. Ronnie had to keep forwarding his tonnage of whatever for a few times before he sold it.
All right. So the captain has listened to the crew. He's heard all their opinions. He doesn't like any of them. So he's going to buy the 15 tons of advanced machine parts and then afterwards look at the 30 tons of basic raw materials.
Okay, that makes 45 tons, which is close to the 48 capacity that you have.
And if they
Um,
want to go buy something else for the other 3 tons,
yeah,
it's all in their favor.
you have a fairly rich ship profits, company profits, or ship funds, so you can actually start swinging several tons. But let me see, 15 tons at 75,000. What does that make? That makes over 1 million.
Yeah, it does. It's okay, we got 1 million to spend.
Uh, 15 times 75,000. Well, okay, I'm talking about base price. You want to see if you can get a better price.
This is how you gamble, Ronnie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, right. Okay, but that's just the base price. If you can try to do better. Okay, so going to the trade center on Flostono, well, you're parked in the capital, Acapulco. You hear that you have pretty much, you do have things like this available. The only thing that is not available is high passengers who want to go to Cleando, low population. Um, let's go by the rules, which we've done. I'll just check the rule book like we've done a few times before. Uh, advanced machine parts. item number 22 in the trade goods table. You purchased on the world. Okay, Faustona is neither industrial nor high tech. Your sale, asteroid, non-industrial. Okay, so none of these little factors apply. The broker on this world, trying to broker these things, is a standard skill level of 2. You have skill plus intelligence bonuses, so it's 3d6 minus 2 plus whatever total you can bring in, Justin. And I'm going to say this time that they don't allow you to gang up on the broker. In other words, if you think that a second person can help or offer their role or persuade, for some reason, today it's just a one-on-one situation. This guy doesn't want to talk to mobs. He's finicky that way. He looks high-strung on the video when you talk to him. But you arrange a meeting time.
Okay.
Only one person can roll.
So I'm not that smart. So can I either soften him up with my social standing, or try to use my education to like out know him, other than outsmart him?
Okay, a broker roll could sometimes be operated with some other dice modifier bonus, depending on the situation or how you want to spin things. Let me just check the broker skill for some ideas. Broker. Okay, availability I don't have to roll for. It's not a problem here. Um, let me see. Finding a buyer, you have to make a roll for that. But negotiating a deal, I don't see anything other than intelligence as a bonus to your broker roll, and you have
I only have
intelligence
+1
bonus
intelligence.
+1. Okay, well, so 3d6 plus 2 plus 1 minus the 2 of his broker skill, and he's not negotiating with pairs of people or mobs. He just wants to talk to one. Let me see what else might apply. Okay, how about this? You don't have persuade skill.
I have deception. I
Deception.
can I can say, hey, my family
Uh-huh.
was we're industrialists. We deal with these exact machine parts. I know you're ripping me off.
Uh-huh.
You gotta
Okay.
lower the price.
Um, all right. Now, you may not even need deception because the apparatoi are telling you the apparatoi might, well, you didn't even have to talk to them yet, but the
We don't
apparatoi
want. I
might
don't
help
want to
you.
talk to the apparator.
No?
They're too
Okay. All right. Well,
too good for me.
if you roll deception, I might allow at least a +1. So it's not the effect that you roll, but whether you pass 8 or not. So see if it works this time by hitting the deception button.
Oh, okay.
11. Okay, so that gets you a +1. So your total net is 3d6 plus. Uh,
+3 -2, so
well,
+1.
your skill is 1. Your total plus is +2, so +3 minus 2. That just gives 3d6 minus 1. I'm trying to see if that makes sense. No, your intellect still applies. But so 2 plus, how does it work? 2 plus 1 minus 2. Um, I'm going to give you a total of 3d6 plus 2 because it's a canny guy. He only wanted to talk to you, but there are factors, shortages and factors going on in the Verdulan Federation, which says that the advanced machine parts might be needed. And some broker there is probably going to buy them up, even though the native population is not that large. Oh, but there's also a starport population up in orbit as well. Um, so there's more population orbiting Cleando than actually on the surface. So it's similar to Yanto in that regard. But roll 3d6 plus 2, and then we'll look at the price table. Okay, big 14. Wow. Okay.
Okay, I like
Oh,
that.
-2 plus 1 plus 1 plus 2. Yeah, that's it. And what does the What does the book say? Crazy of me to be this slow, but okay, no, it's the back of the book. There we go. You can use the page up, page down key. There we go. So purchase price at 14 means that you've negotiated him down to 70% of base price. So 70% of 75,000 is, very quickly, 75,000 times 0.7. Base price has dropped to 52,500 per ton, and therefore times 15 means you pay only 787,500 credits, and you can buy the complete lot of 15 tons. So mark off 787,500 credits.
All right, we got $400 for these, or $400,000 for these basic raw materials.
Okay, so a fairly good day at the trade center. Mark that off from the ship profits. And
Yep.
your next purchase that you're aiming for is 30 tons of basic raw materials. What's it called in Mongoose 2? Basic raw materials. Basic. Common raw materials, number 14. Base price of 5,000 per ton, right? Okay. Now, Flostona is not an agricultural world. It almost counts as garden, so I'm almost tempted to give you half a factor there. It's not industrial world. It's not a poor world. So I think you're looking at a +1 because it is, full of vegetable matter and it's almost a garden world. So instead of a garden factor of +2, I'll give you a +1. It's just that their infrastructure and transportation may not be totally developed for that, and they have very little surface area for farming anyway. But definitely a place for vegetation compared to the nearly arid Cleando. So 3d6 +2 plus whatever your intelligence factor. Well, your 3d6 +2 is your total, -2 because of the broker there. But the broker for the common raw materials will allow, speaking to more than one person. So if another broker wants to come in on the deal and the pair of you talk to the broker, you might get a better deal. So I'm making the total factors so far for price 3d6 +2 plus 1 for the garden world almost, plus an assist from whoever, -2 for, so that's what I make it so far. And I'm gonna, let me see. Yeah, I'm
All
gonna
right, Ronnie,
leave it
how do
at
you want
that.
to do this? Who wants to sweeten them up and who wants to go in for the
I'll
kill?
soften up for you.
All right.
Yeah, so roll your broker plus dice modifier and see if you can make an 8.
Here we go. And I do.
Okay, so that will add a +1 to the mix, making the total like 3d6 +2 +1 +1 -2. So again, the roll for pricing is 3d6 +2 and 30 tons of basic raw materials. So, sorry. Yeah, okay. So Justin, roll 3d6 +2 total.
Oh,
Not so good. That's a 9. You don't have to necessarily take that trade if you don't want to, but what is
we'll
it?
take it.
Yeah, what does the chart say? 9. Oh, okay, that's not bad because it's still 90%. No, sorry, no, 95% of base price. Okay. 3d6 +2
Can't win them
2
all.
+1 +1. Assist by Ronnie. think I've totally forgotten my shorthand, so I'm not writing this very fast. Okay, so 95% of base price. I think Mark Miller made the math very easy in this game, but I'll calculate it. Well, 95% of 5,000, I'm going to guess it's like 47.50. Okay, 4,750 per ton times 30 makes, drum roll please, 142,500 credits, which you can afford. So mark off 142,500. Yeah, but it's called common raw materials in this book. Okay, so you have that now, and that pretty much fills your hold except for 3 tons. How are you for life support if we look at the Steppenwolf sheet? I don't know if we've been keeping good track of the life support. Steppenwolf Bio and Info tab. Uh, yeah, life support, 8 people for 5 weeks. Do you want to buy more life support? It costs basically 1,000 credits per month per person.
Uh, sure. I think we got basically a month left, but we're going into dead space, so yeah. Yeah, let's get some more just in case.
Okay. One maintenance period is 4 weeks. Life support for a single person in a maintenance period, according to the book, is I think I said 1,000. So that makes why didn't I write it on the sheet? One maintenance period costs 10,000. Well, I wrote down one maintenance period costs 10,700. I don't know how I got that amount.
Should I use that amount?
Uh, life support.
Because you got to include the extra little inky dinky, um, not what is it? Not life support, but uh, the freeze tank, the low burst.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah, low berth
Yeah.
cryo materials. If you're carrying passengers and things, yeah. Okay, maybe that's what we figured in. Basic ship systems, life support. Okay, life support and supplies. Each stateroom on a ship costs 1,000 credits. Since you each have your own stateroom, that's 1,000 credits per person. So it's 8,000 plus some extra stuff, I suppose, to maintain the cryo units for a month. So 10,700 buys you an extra month. So that looks about right. You want to buy an extra month to bring yourself up to 9 weeks or whatever.
Yep.
It's actually a month is actually bigger. Well, okay, 4 week period, maintenance period. Okay, so uh, mark off 10,700, and that buys you life support plus cryo support for 4 more weeks. So now you have 9 weeks for everybody.
We got 9 weeks to live, guys.
Okay, good. Mark it off the ship funds, the regular ship profits. And so you're loaded up okay. Do you want to make a move to now do your jump from Flostono to Clienda? Oh, and the cargo, or sorry, Mr. Liu's freight does arrive with some, some workers who haul the stuff on grav pallets, and they look pretty. They look like they have pretty ferrety criminal faces, but they don't bother you none. They can deliver the 15 tons of freight. That's loaded. Regular workers from the starport will load the other cargo, your 15 tons of advanced machine parts, your 30 tons of basic raw materials. This takes several hours to coordinate. Um, I think we reached day 120, if I'm not mistaken. So you might be ready to depart at the end of day 121. No, no, sorry. According to the calendar, yeah, it's day 130, and you might be ready to depart by day 131. Is there anything else you want to do on Flustono?
Say goodbye to my girlfriends.
Oh, you've collected some girlfriends? Okay, sure. You can sort of halfway go there. And the Savrets, as I said, they don't want to hire you for any job. They offered you a kind of job which is like the classic exploration of ruins, but they canceled that job just because there's too much heat going on. Security forces on Flostona apparently are a little agitated, and the Savrets don't want to attract attention, or that's what they say anyway. Any other business? Any other thoughts? No?
Nope.
Okay.
No.
So you can make moves to jump from Flostono to Cliando. It's only a 1 parsec jump. Um, I have to roll for Jerry for piloting. Piloting just to get up and out to 100 diameters. So let me get to Jerry's sheet and do that. Or sorry, uh, First Officer Brogan Riley's sheet. And roll pilot, spacecraft.
Don't mess us up, Brogan.
Yeah, he's I don't know, he's sort of being half-assed or lackadaisical today, but it's clear skies. He deals with the local traffic control, gets off the planet okay. Um, puts a little bamboo umbrella from a drink on the dashboard of his piloting console, along with one of those little hula girls that wiggles back and forth. And souvenirs from Flastono. You didn't want to buy weapons or any other stuff. So you're out in space out to 100 diameters, and now during the jump you probably calculated a roll, so that's astrogation, where once again First Officer Brogan Riley is probably the best at it, unless for comic relief you want somebody else to roll for it. Uh, but astrogation Brogan has a total of skill of 3. Cicely has 1 with his wafer. Just to be safe, he can ask somebody to assist if it goes wrong. But I'm just going to roll Brogan's astrogation. Duh.
I have complete faith in them.
Yeah. Okay. Known world, perfect pinpointing, looks very good. He can plot the course in hype jump space and everything. And now there's a role for jump drive maintenance, which is Ved Area.
Huh, we fail that almost
Yeah.
every time.
Well,
Oh, that's
sometimes
right.
let's just say that sometimes you've had problems, but of course you've been doing a whole lot of jumps. So, engineer, jump drive.
Somebody assist that man.
If it gets bad, I'll ask for an assist roll. And because there's a lot of players away today, I'm doing a lot of NPC work. The roll is 13. Okay.
I'm
Very
like,
good.
Brogan, assist that man because
Yeah.
he has a
Plus,
+2.
plus 3. How did we fail so many times?
Just the luck of the draw.
Yeah.
Okay. So day 131, you successfully depart from Flustono. You are engaged in the jump. Uh, let me see.
Tomo,
Okay.
did we pick up any passengers?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, right. Low passengers were possible, I'm afraid, but I don't think any high passengers. So 11 low lifes were willing to take low passage. So you can fill up all the low berths as well. So let me see low berths times 7. not a problem, and that's probably why it verged into day 131. Um, what's the luggage allocation on a low berth? It's pretty low, isn't it? Like they only get 10 kilos. That's low.
Yeah, basically they get it. They get hand luggage.
Yeah, poor folks, but they're probably going to where the business is. They might all be criminals if they're going to there, but Dr. Astria gets busy with prepping 7 low passengers, and you have 7 low passengers snuggled up in the low berths. The seventh low berth that's jury rigged still scares people because of its Baroque steampunk appearance, but it works perfectly by now. It's been tuned and perfected. So you get 7 passengers, and that'll get you it'll get you less than 9100 because you're just jumping 1 parsec this time. So 7 passengers at 1 parsec only. So keep that in mind.
It's
Okay, but
okay. Astra has to earn her keep.
yeah, that's her salary. She's got a high salary as a medic, and she takes care of all those people. So otherwise, she has nothing to do until Brogan and Tomo party on a world, and then there's all sorts of social diseases that she has to take care of. But other than that, this is a point where she has a flurry of activity at once. Um, okay, so you're in
She might not
space,
be getting paid enough
really?
with
Well,
those two.
yeah. Well, nobody's asking for a raise. These traveler salaries have been pretty much well worked out through the decades. But you're now in jump space. You have a week. This is going to be the 7th week of study for most people. Uh, so piloting up to the jump point successful, astrogation successful, jump engine success, jump drive successful. In jump to Cleando. It's the 7th week of study, except for Astria and Sicily, for whom it's still the 6th week of study. Uh, After the following jump, which will probably land you at the fuel depot in Hex 1213, that's when you can make rolls to see if your skill increases. Now, what else do you want to do during the week in jump? I think, yeah, there's. I'm going to have to handle the NPCs a little bit, but what do the players present want to do in this week?
Oh, just training, working on my skill improvement,
Okay.
and
Okay, so
obviously
that's understood.
now.
Everyone
Sorry, we,
trains.
we haven't got any other than the low, right?
Other than what?
The low passages.
No, you
We
didn't
don't
get
have
high
any high or
passengers
mid.
this time. Not enough people want to go to Cleando. It's not a luxury spot, apparently.
Doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, I think I might have possibly rolled. A rich person might have a chance to actually want to jump the Moo Gap, but and go to one of the other worlds. But you may not want to advertise that you're using a clandestine fuel depot. He'll be conscious when he gets to some criminal outpost, and he'll see where you are. So, but there's no low passengers going to Cleando apparently. I mean high passengers. Okay. Anything else you want to do in a week? So that suits me. We can just sum it up. Okay.
So Wilson's doing steward skill, and there's no one to really steward for. So I think he's just talking to the people in the low berths. He's like, "Oh
So
yeah, I'm Captain Durwat," and he like pretends to like get their food for them and ask how they're doing,
wait a minute. Wait.
just as practice.
You're walking into the low berth section, which is also it's also occupied by Astria and her med bay, the improvised med bay that people generally build around here. And you're walking around and talking to the coffins. You're talking to the low berths.
They're not coffins; they're alive.
The people are alive, but they're completely unconscious and frozen, and you see them behind a little frosted window of each low berth.
I
Uh,
need the practice.
and you're talking to them, and you're asking,
I'm
if
talking
they
to them.
You're asking if they want red wine and white wine with their
Yeah, and
meal?
I'm pretending to listen attentively.
Really? Okay. Are you doing this within Astria's earshot? Are you only
Um,
doing this because she might want to write you up as a psychological report? You know, if the
I don't
captain
know.
goes,
There some role I can make to avoid Astria?
yeah, well, I think it might relate to your personality, but she might have a duty to report to Argosy Dawn Shipping. Way over in the Argosy Dawn Articles of Incorporation, they probably have lots of rules and regulations, and the ship's doctor has to report it if the captain goes loopy. So maybe she has to do something. But you can counter,
Yeah,
which is a sort of an amusing
Ronnie,
situation here.
yeah,
Uh,
Ronnie will run interference for the captain if he asks.
okay, I'll keep you in mind, Ronnie. Your volume is a bit low, but I want you to be, of course, fully participating. There's only four of us today, four players today. Um, I'm looking at, of course, Captain Wilson Derwatt's sheet. Um, well, if you roll a good deception and give me some kind of reason why you're talking to the low berths, I might buy it. But why are you doing this?
Astria, I need practice.
Yeah,
You gotta let me
Practicing what?
focus.
practice. Okay.
Practice.
Oh, here's a good excuse. You can tell them that you're inventing a new thing called the steward role playing game. You play servants and citizens in an advanced high tech service sector society, and you're trying to work out the rules and the possible conversations. It doesn't, and you assure Astria that it's not because you're going nuts. How about that? No? Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't want to bore people. I
I say some BS like that.
really okay. Make a deception roll.
I rolled an 8.
Okay, that's a bit on the edge, but okay. She's gonna
Yep.
probably let it go, but I'm gonna just write down that Wilson talks to the low bursts.
Not the coffins, the low bursts. There's humans inside.
Yeah, totally unconscious humans who can't hear you. Okay. All right. What does everybody else do? Let me think about the NPCs as well. Siseri's going to worship in his shamanistic religion. He already had a piece of Flostona collected before. Uh, he talks to RUR 67 about religion. Astria, nothing special. Ved Aria. Let me see. And Brogan. Brogan's just being Brogan. Nothing special. Okay. And any other thoughts before I end the week? Okay.
No, I'm going to just do my whatever steward duties, for the ship and everything.
Well, there's no actual high passengers. You just have people in the low berths. You can swab the decks a little bit, but they're no dirtier than when you started. Um, okay, but it's week 7 of your studies and education, and you're getting ready to come out of jump over Cleando, and you take the usual precautions. You can, if you want, evacuate the ship. There's no high passengers to worry about. And you do materialize. You come out of jump about 100 diameters away from Cleando, and it's a size 2 world. Um, so it's really not much of a. You don't need to spend much time to get to the space station orbiting over Cleando. Let me just see what it is. 2,000 is just a 2,000 mile diameter.
Why has this place got such a high law level?
It has a low law level, doesn't it?
We're
Oh,
not jumping
sorry.
to Zabura.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I got the wrong
No,
one.
no way.
Yeah, it's the Cleando map. I put the map um, on the board.
Yeah, it was Zaruba that had the high law level,
Yeah,
wasn't it? Yes.
Dr. Liu, sorry, Mr. Liu told you to avoid Jeruba. Okay, you jump there, you make it at 100 diameters. I'm going to use that little utility to figure out, it's probably not that important this time, but I'm going to figure out how long it takes to go. And the planet is 3,200 kilometers wide. 100 diameters of that is only 320,000 kilometers. You have only maneuvered one, but yeah, it just takes you 3 hours, 188 minutes, or 3.14 hours, or maybe a little less than that, to get to the space station on orbiting Cleando. And let me read the traveler advisories. As you come into Cleando's space station, you hear the following advisories. They're already in that Cleando handout. I'll just read it verbally. Campaign info planets Cleando. Okay, so a little radio broadcast about things to know about Cleando. Travel to the hot desert portions on this already hot world are not recommended without extensive survival gear and environmental suits. The insect pests called needlers are endemic in the tropical and desert regions. Special repellent creams are partially successful. And the final message, the Cleando Presidium has developed an enlightened interpretation of Verdulan socialism. Comrades have developed a high level of collaboration which obviates the need for laws. Good manners in the presence of armed comrades is suggested. Oh, yeah, where have you heard that before? So, those are the messages. You arrive and are given a docking bay uh, uh, at the uh, Cleando space station. Um, because the tech level of this world is only 8, there are pockets of higher technology anywhere where space travel starships are involved. So it's not too much of a problem. Their resource collection, though, if you're living on the planet itself and you're 3,000 people living on the planet, mostly in the southern polar area, um, you pretty much have only tech level 8 to work with. Other very, very tiny settlements elsewhere. Uh, the population can generally expand, but the low law level is uh, a magnet not only for criminals, but for people who just don't want to live under the normal Verdulan socialist system. They still sign up to join communes on this world, but things are pretty fast and loose with the laws. Um, you're in orbit around the space station, and let me see. They get some traffic, but not a lot. I'm just trying to see what the apparatoi will say. You have your sheets of papers for. You have 2 legitimate cargoes, and you have the 15 tons for which forged and falsified papers have been presented. You jumped before you were on Flostono, you were on Technica, but they don't know that. Um, Justin, I'd like you to roll for Captain Justin Derwatt, and I'd like you to make a social standing roll.
Easy.
Okay, you make a 10. All right, so you're a person of some distinction. Um, There are authorities here. Some of them might be corrupt authorities. Some of them might honestly want to try to stem back the tide, which tide of criminality, which they suspect is taking over Cleando. The Red Hand operates here. Um, Ronnie, I think if you were walking around the starport or hanging around the bars long enough, you might be able to make contact with the Red Hand if you wanted to. But you have mainly legitimate cargoes and that 15 tons of extra stuff, which uh, it's just freight. You're just going to deposit it. So the freight is no problem. You generally pass all the starport customs. Well, not really customs because you're still in the Verdulan Federation. You've passed all those checks. Um, you dock to the Cleando starport. You have a certain trade center such as exists there. So the 15 tons of freight are dropped off here, and the people who pick up this particular freight shipment uh, do pay you the 150,000 credits. So add 150,000 credits to the ship profits. Oh, do you want this? You don't really want this to be on the books, do you? Do you just split it up 8 ways among the crew?
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, let's split it up 8 ways among the crew.
Yeah, because you have a shipment which will be taking from Curtolo to Flostona, which you don't want on the books. You don't want Mr. Liu's 15 tons on the ship books either, do you?
Nah, probably not. So
Okay.
that's 18, almost 19,000 for everybody.
Well, it's 150,000 to share. As I said, it was 15 tons at 10,000 credits per ton per parsec. 150,000 divided by 8 ways is your avails of crime. So everybody gets 18,750 credits each. It sounds fun until there's criminal risk involved, but that's what you actually make if you keep it off the books. So each character gets 18,750 credits. Okay, so that's an easy job. Now that you have to roll for the two legitimate cargoes. Um, the first one, as we said, was the uh, advanced machine parts. Now you're on a world, and the only trade class here is low population. So let's, oops, sorry. I think I'm slowing down. I'll declare a short break in 15 minutes or so. Um, Going back to the rule book. Now we're going to determine the sale price. And okay, sale price of advanced machine parts, item 22. Um, it's not an asteroid world, it's not a non-industrial world, and it's not industrial or high tech. So the factors completely even out here. 3d6 plus 2 for your total skill and intelligence bonus. But remember when I said that there may be a greater need for this part. So the roll is actually going to be 3d6 plus 1 for your sale price. So you can go ahead and roll that, Justin.
Hmm.
Not so good. I didn't have to switch the screen to see what the roll was. 11.
I
Okay.
was hoping for more than that.
Well, you bought pretty low. How much does it say? How much did you?
Fine, we'll take it.
Okay, sale price at 11 makes okay 100%. But your margin, you bought it at 70%, didn't you?
We brought
Yeah.
at
Yeah,
75%.
75%. Okay,
I was
so
hoping to sell it on um, what is it called? Either uh, Pestino or
Paziento.
Ars- Pestiento
Yeah.
or Arstino.
In Verdulan, they can make the ts sound anywhere they want at the beginning, middle, or end of a word. So it's tz. But you seem to have trouble. It's
I do.
paziento, and it's the Verdulan word for patience. Paziento or Aristino. Yeah, you can hold on to that cargo if you want, but the offering price is at 100% of base price. So obviously, with
Yeah, even with a low, like moderate roll, that's actually pretty good. So yeah, I guess I am selling it. They convinced me.
okay, so you're looking at 75,000 credits times 15 tons. I know it's kind of boring, guys, but it's money. Money can be used to
I
buy
promise you guys are gonna
interesting
get paid.
things.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, 75,000
Good.
times. Okay, sale price, advanced machine parts.
Um,
I have the number, and it's 1,125. Sorry, 1,125,000 credits. Okay, so it's not such a high price here, even with the local fact. Okay, funny images from Brian here. That's more like what
okay.
Brogan Riley has on his little pilot console.
Yeah, that's
So we're
exactly what
supposed
it
to
is.
give people
I'm gonna
5%, right? We give
No,
the
that's for
crew.
freight. That's for um, no, the 5% bonus is just for freight deliveries, I think. How did we work it before? Uh,
Because I was thinking we got we got 8 crew members. Let's give everybody 2,000 each, and then that would be a little over 5%. That way,
well,
we're not dealing with teeny decimals.
oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, you're right. 5% of 1,125,000 equals
No, no, no.
56,000.
5% of the profits, which
Oh,
is 25% of whatever that
oh,
is.
okay. So that would be 14,000. The profits were 14,062.5 credits each. No, sorry, what am I talking about here?
just under
That
2,000 each.
Yeah. So give everybody 2,000 each. That's why it's an even 16,000 to subtract
Okay,
from
you're doing
the
5% of the
25.
profits. I think I'll have to review the session summaries and see if that's how we really did it. But okay, um, let's see, times 0.05 times 0.25 divided by 8. Yeah, I have some number which works out to
It's gonna be
1,757.81.
messy.
That doesn't make sense.
1,800 something. That makes sense to me.
Okay, 5% of the. Oh, I know what I did wrong. Because you bought it at.
We bought it at 75.
The profits were actually 337,500. If I take 5% of that, that makes 16,875.
John made more money extorting Virgil.
And you okay, divided by 8 crew equals sorry, I'm a bit slow on the calculator today, but as I said, I've had a rough week. 2,109.375 credits. I'm not even going to figure fractions, so call it 2109 to each crew member.
All matches my numbers.
Yeah, and that's just one cargo. The other cargo, oh, sorry, and what will the ship's remainder be? It'll be 1,125,000 minus 16,875. So please note that it's 1,108,125 credits to the ship profits, making up much more, a couple of 100,000 more than what you paid. Um, and
Okay, I'm rounding down. No, we're not doing the 109. We're just doing 2,000, guys. Sorry, guys. You're getting
That's fine.
scrapped.
That's what
okay,
I
so just
I figured.
2,000. Okay, to make it easy, 2,000 credit
To make
bonus.
it easy.
Okay, and that would mean that you're just subtracting 16,000. Oh boy, okay, so now you're changing the ship figure as well.
Yep. I'm going to hit save.
Minus 16,000 only. Okay, captain's right, so it's 1,109,000 even. 1,109,000 even as
I
the
want
ship
Astria
profits.
to make some medic checks for these sad passengers.
Oh yeah, that's right. We'll get to the passengers after the second cargo. Um, the other cargo, of course, was the common raw materials, not basic raw materials in this game, but common raw materials. Um, so that's in item 14 in the list. Um, it's not a low this is a low population world. Well, let's see. It's not industrial. It's not poor. Not agricultural. Not garden. So once again, I'm going to ask again for the same kind of roll. 3d6 plus 2 for the price. Or sorry, 3d6 plus 2 minus 2 plus 1. Sorry, so roll 3d6 plus 1 for common
I
raw
rolled better
materials.
that time.
And whoops, I have my nose in the book. You rolled a 15 this time.
Yes.
Okay, and according to the book, 15 on the sale price roll is 120% of base. So 120% of 5,000, I make it as an even 6,000. And you had 30 tons of this stuff. So when you bought it at 142,500, you have now sold it all at 180,000. Now, once again, do you want to do that thing about spreading 5% of the profits? So it's 180,000 minus 142.5. Profits were therefore 37,500 credits, and 5% of that, this is not such a big ticket item, but 5% of the profits works out to 1875. Divide that by 8 and you get a mere 234.375. 5%. Yeah, I get 234.375 credits to each crew member. Do you want to round that down, Justin?
Oh boy. See, my math failed me.
Okay.
Um,
Let's say you give them a 200 credit bonus each. It
sure.
means you're taking 1,600 off of 180,000. So
It's
200
all
credits
credits.
to each crew member. Yeah, do you want to do the same calculation in euros? That would be fun. You just double everything.
That's easy math. I can double. It's all this other stuff.
until I introduce exchange rates. Okay,
Yeah.
so 180,000 minus 1,600 means there's just 178,400 credits to the ship funds. And I almost don't need a calculator to figure that out. Yeah, 178,400 credits to ship profits, or the not the ship reserve, but the ship profits. Okay, so that's done, but you are correct. We figure out the low passengers, but here's a twist. The low passengers have only been hauled for 1 parsec instead of 2, and so they only pay $700, sorry, 700 credits each. Low passengers, 7 times 1 parsec, which is 700 credits. Obviously makes only 4,900 credits, and you're not giving ship bonuses to the crews. Astria earns her regular salary for doing that. So 4,900 credits to the ship funds.
All right.
Okay, it is, as I said, day 131. Um, Now, this space station is a little more elevated in tech than the usual tech level 8 that
38. 138, right? Jump
day.
space.
Oh, you're quite right. Yeah, you took off on day. Let me go back here. It was day 131 when you took off. It's now day 138. You're quite right when you come out of jump. And one or two things happens. Well, okay, you've got the you've got the traveler advisories when you came in on the radio. An apparato here says, as part of the check-in procedures, he asks you, "Are you going to land on the planet? Do you want some insect cream?" You may need it.
We don't need to land there, do we?
I want to refuel there, but I don't know if
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
get out.
Is that the only place to refuel?
If you stay on the space station, you might have to. Well, you can. If you stay on the space station, you'll have to pay for fuel. If you want to skim from a gas giant or land and pick up water, you can get the fuel for free and refine it yourself. But if you land on the surface, you might be exposed to the insect pests.
Sure, I'll take some needle or repellent.
Okay,
Well, I don't plan to go outside. I don't like bugs.
don't like bugs. Okay, well, a
Same
small
here.
I don't
supply.
like bugs either. That's why I'm buying this stuff.
Yeah,
That's
a
why we have an airlock.
yeah, a
Yeah.
small supply for all the people would. Let's say it costs you let's say it costs you 20 credits even if you want to take it out of the ship fund. So that's only assuming you have to visit the surface for any reason. Okay, and one or two things are going to happen. Sorry, I'm just trying to think of some actions here. I did have one or two plans, but other things can happen as well. Let me see. One thing that happens is that you're in a certain docking bay. Um, you have to pay docking fees of a minimum of 100 credits. So mark that off as well. 100 credits docking fee,
Okay.
20 credits insect cream, let's call it. And there is a Somebody's apparently heard that you landed here and you get a message from
We didn't do it, whatever it was.
Yeah.
let me see. Can I bold this? No. Oh, is there a way to make bold type and roll 20? I think you have to put a
I
star
think
around
it's
it.
2 stars for
2 star.
bold.
Yeah, okay, that's similar to Discord.
Let's try.
Uh, let me see. I'm just going to type it here. Sorry, I have something to type. Sorry for the dead air, people. This is how RPGs go sometimes. Okay, this is purely for color, or I think it's a social thing, but there's an administrator here, a planetary administrator, or one of the planetary administrators, you're not clear. His name is Horazzo Cugano. Horazzo is like Horace in English. And Horazzo has heard of your exploits on Fredeo. He saw you on some excerpt of that morning talk show that you were on. Remember the morning talk show on
Mm.
Floston? How are you doing, Flostano? Um, all done in the Verdulan language. So what the news services did, several planets around, is they took an excerpt of that show and they talked about how the people who apparently came to the assistance of the robots on Fredeo ended up on the talk show. So they show a little excerpt of you talking on the talk show in your broken Verdulan, and they also did an excerpt of they played up the cooking show segment that you did, which had more laugh value to it. So the administrator's apparently seen that, so it was covered in the news, like like you'd see a popular YouTube clip or something like that. And he's heard that it's the Steppenwolf. He saw that your ship has landed here. Um, Basically, your ship ID is known, although they don't worry about what your cargo is or trades or whatever. But the administrator has heard of you, and he says that he would like to invite you to dinner at his expense at a fancy restaurant, but it's down on the town of Chrono on the surface. He gives you some details, and name of the restaurant is, let me see. Um, yeah, okay. It actually translates. Uh, did I write it in Verdulan? No, I didn't write the name in Verdulan, but it translates to Old Damascus Restaurant, which is down in, sorry, like I said, down in the town of Chrono. And he sets a
Oh,
date, which is actually, I guess because of the time zones and how it's only going to be evening in a little while, it's a time that's about 14 hours away. He just wants to meet and talk to you because you had enough of a news presence from that clip to be a local curiosity, and they don't get many curious visitors around here. So that's the invitation, basically. And it's not Horazzo Cugano himself who talks, it's probably some aide who's giving you this message.
never hurts to schmooze with the apparatoi.
Yeah, could be
The
handy.
apparatoi are the traders' aides, but you're going to be schmoozing with the actual uh, the actual leaders of this particular planet. It's not a large population that you're dealing with, so probably everybody's the administrator, or they all take it in turns. You don't know how it works here, but it's very
Yeah,
low
I'm like, how is
population.
it? Oh, what's an administrator on a non-government world, an anarchist world?
Yeah. Well, the administrator of this planet is probably taken over because Well, it is sort of losing control because the space station personnel, they keep the trade lanes open in the Verduland Federation, and ships stop here and they move on back and forth somewhere else. So there's an equally large population on the space station as on the surface. So you have locals and you have space station people. You also have the criminal element infiltrating both, probably. So the Red Hand may be everywhere. You don't know if this administrator is clean or dirty yet. You can ask around.
Yeah,
You have
I'm like, let's get Tony to ask
yeah.
around. You
Oh,
there, Tony?
yeah. If you consent, you have 14 hours before the appointment. Before their
Yeah,
dinner reservation.
I
Oh,
could try to
consent.
contact the Red Hand around here and see if I can get any info on what they know. They would
We
know
don't.
if this guy's jumping or what.
Okay. Um, if I heard you right, Ronnie, you want to try to make contact with the Red Hand,
That
and
is correct. I'm gonna go out
okay,
on the street and see what I can dig up.
okay. May I suggest that you first of all look through public webs, because if you don't know the politics of a place, you go through the public webs and the Wikipedia or the Who's Who guide to figure out what the government setup is and who the notables are. Okay, so Mr. Horazio Cugano is a notable, but you have to figure out what his exact position is. And that's a very, very simplest of research roles. I mean, how easy is it to read Wikipedia? Very easy. So unless you really, really flub it, I'm going to ask you to make an intelligence roll. Um, unless yeah, you're not using Streetwise yet. I'd like to ask you to switch your sheet to a boon roll and roll intelligence. So you can still roll a
Not
2
computers.
on this sheet.
It's got computers.
Um, it's so easy to read Wikipedia,
Well,
your
here we
computer
go.
skill might not even apply. Boon intelligence with a boon.
Okay, there we go.
That was your boon roll. Okay, so even with a boon, oh no, I'm oh yeah, you did roll with a boon. 4 plus 3 plus
Yeah,
3. Okay, okay, okay.
just
So
a success with or without.
yeah, you do pass. I thought it'd be easier than that, but okay. So what you find out from and set your sheet back to normal from boon,
Yeah,
and
What's a boom? I'm sorry.
oh,
it's like
okay.
advantage.
Yeah, Ben.
3d6 keep highest
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
in Traveler Mongoose, you can roll a boon where you take the best 2 out of 3 dice, and it generally bumps up your roll by about 1.5, roughly. And a Bane is the opposite. You have to pick the lowest 2 out of 3 dice. So it shifts your odds a bit. It's similar to advantage and disadvantage in Dungeons and Dragons. So yeah, that's an important point for the home audience because not everybody may be familiar with this version of Traveler. But you just made a boon, and even with the boon, you barely pass. The cute thing about the boon and bane rolls is that it doesn't make the extreme rolls impossible, it just makes them rarer. So, you do find out from the public webs and stuff that Administrator Horazio Cugano is not the sole or highest ruler of the world. He's part of a council of 12. Uh, and each counselor sort of specializes in a different economic aspect. But the trouble is that this world has such a low population; it doesn't have a whole lot of economic aspects. But he is a notable. He is recognizable from the media as well as other administrators, and the administrators in turn control coordinators, and coordinators in turn control or at least direct this or that commune. There's a commune for mining, there's a commune for forestry, there's some agriculture here, but as I said, the population is too low to have much of an industrial or agricultural base. They try to concentrate on providing enough for their subsistence needs. But he's going to invite you to the town and probably what is one of the fancier restaurants in the town at the appointed time. Do you want to try to get more clandestine information by making contact with the Red Hand?
Oh yeah, I'd like to get a
Can you
hold of
speak a
them
little
and
louder, Ronnie?
yeah, I'd like to get a hold of them and get just basic info from them on the planet and the
Okay,
government and everything.
good. So that's where you would probably roll streetwise, playing it loosely, of course. Let me think a little bit just before you roll on Ronnie's sheet. Okay, now here's where I'm going to do a little twist for you. Um,
All right,
Normally okay, streetwise has an intellect bonus, so your streetwise 2 plus 1 for your intellect. In this case, it doesn't make much of a difference, but your plus in this case comes from the inverse of your social standing. You have a lower than average social standing of 5, but that's actually a bit of a benefit in streetwise. So the -1 mod turns into a +1 anyway. So it doesn't matter if you use intellect or reversed social standing. You're a low life. You know the signs. You look for people. Um, so make a streetwise roll, and I can see how successful you are to ferret out some information talking to people.
all righty, here goes. 9.
Okay, so very rough, very quickly speaking, you've beat the roll of 8. So what you do is a very simple thing about uh, looking around street corners. You probably find beggars, or well, not street corners because you're still up on the space station, but you do find beggars or people who look like they may be conducting scams or could even be pickpockets. You get to talking with them, and they sort of get the impression that you're a criminal as well. You
Yeah, how's
sound like
business, buddy?
yeah, and you basically get the name of somebody that you can talk to at a bar, and you introduce yourself as an off-worlder, somebody who's looking for uh, scams and criminal opportunity, and there could be money in it, and you are directed to some sort of average, small bar, like, bars that exist in the nooks and crannies of space stations. It's a fairly large space station if there's quarters for a couple of thousand, and ships dock at it. Um, you meet this guy in a bar. You only know him by his handle. Um the guy has a name which basically translates as the Rhino. He looks like some sort of beefy guy. He calls himself the Rhino, and he basically talks a little bit like you. I'm just going to do a little bit of role playing. He says, "Ah, so you're from off world, huh?" This is all in Verdulin.
Oh yeah, we're from over in the frontier.
Ah, so okay. Let's see. And the Rhino says, "Well, what's your line?" By which he means, what kind of criminal business are you in?
Oh, we're in moving things to where they need to go. A bit of
Ah,
smuggling and that stuff.
okay. Uh, yeah, so you're in here to try to size up things, make some deals. De
Yeah,
de
pretty much.
yeah,
Get the lay of the land,
depending on what you want, I can try to refer you to somebody, but of course I'll want a cut out of it.
obviously.
What are you looking for around here?
Mostly, I just want some info on, the uh, local administrators and stuff. Who's on our team and who isn't.
Uh-huh. Oh yeah, okay. Well, um, it's a poor world. You got all kinds of people trying to rise above their commune status by, doing things for other people, getting more extra money for it beyond their official salary, and the politicians are no different. Uh, who is it do you want to know about?
So I'm gonna ask about the guy who invited us to dinner. Uh,
Okay,
I
yeah,
didn't get his name though.
Sure, it's pronounced Administrator Horazzo Cugano. Horazzo Cugano. And he says, "Oh, Cugano, huh? Uh, I don't know. I don't think he's with the Red Hand at all. You know, like some politicians have been bought, some haven't. Unless he's got a deal with some gang or group that I don't know of. I haven't heard of him being, bought or involved with us in any way. He could be legit, but I can't say for sure."
All right. Yeah, he's reached out to us, so we'll play it safe with him.
All right, you're looking for legitimate trade. Well, that's a first. I mean, this, I never heard it on this world. Hey, here, let me buy you a drink, and so on. And it goes on like that for another maybe hour or two, but you can depart if you want.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, good. So you find out a little bit about the situation just from carousing. Maybe I should have made, well, you can make a carousing roll, but only if you want to stay and, ingratiate yourself or make contact. But you just wanted a little information. Maybe you buy him a drink and that's enough.
Yeah.
So take off, 3, 4 credits. It'd be only something like that. Okay, so that's what you
Yeah.
find out. Does anybody else want to do anything?
No,
He's
I'm just
not
going
on
to
the
press my
list, right?
clothes.
As far as you know, he's not part of the Red Hand, or he's not taking pay from the Red Hand. That's what this contact called the Rhino says to you, you know.
And he's not on Brianna's list.
Um, for art,
Yeah,
Cleando, do you have the list? By the way, if you have this list, you got it through the email from Brianna Anderson. So she gave you a list of, people involved in the art you can call upon for help. Um, where are you keeping this list? Are you keeping it in your own data pad, or are you keeping it in the computer mainframe on the ship? Either way, you can probably easily consult it, but it might be incriminating info. Where do you store this information? You're not. Do you know what I mean?
it's probably password protected on the ship's computer, not
Okay.
on anybody's hand computer.
Okay. Well, wherever it's stored, it's not hard for you to access it if you have the password and you connect to the computer. So you can connect to the computer with your computer access. You can therefore then put in the password, and if you look for Cleando, um, you see another name, but he's just a person at the coordinator level. So there's let's call him Coordinator X, uh, is involved with art and might
But
be a
then not
source
the
of pay.
administrator. Okay.
Not this administrator, Cugano, no.
I don't know where that list is anymore.
Oh, I didn't make a list as a handout yet, but I can sort of
Okay.
fill in names. But call the contact on Cleando Coordinator X who's on the list. That encourages me to actually make a list, and I'll have to sort of put in a random name or two for all the planets you can potentially go to. That's a big job, but we're just loosely role playing this aspect. It's a safety net of sorts. But Coordinator X on the planet is involved with the art, but he's not this guy. This guy appears to be, as far as you can tell, a legitimate politician. And very briefly, does anybody else want to do anything in the 14 hours that you're here? Supply wise, you're okay. This is an illegal planet with the possibility to buy illegal stuff in the trade table. Everything that begins with a 6 in the well, there's 36 trade items. The last 6 are illegal, this or that. But I don't know if the whole Steppenwolf wants to turn to the dark side like that.
Right. He is willing to help if the captain wants to.
For trade?
Yeah,
I
the captain's down for.
Okay, yeah.
think this is where the captain leans back and lets Ronnie do the trading for once.
Yeah, if it's in
Yeah,
illegal things. But my question is, do you want to turn to the dark side and start trading in illegal stuff?
yeah, that's the captain's decision there.
Yeah. Okay, so the captain might have a major decision, the main decision to do about that. I'm going to call a short break. We're a little bit past half the time. I'm sorry I'm taking two breaks, but I'll just be off for a minute. If you have anything else you want to do on the space station at Cleando before the appointed time for the dinner reservation, you can talk about that amongst yourselves. Just a minute break.
I'm gonna go back too.
Well, everybody's muted.
Hey there, Justin.
Oh, it's not Justin. Just
Oh, they're all buggered off
brother.
for a break, I think.
Yeah.
I'm just lying here.
Sorry, I'm back. Okay. Any thoughts or decisions in the few hours you have? Okay. No remarks. Again, we only have four players today, so that's okay. That's understandable.
Yeah,
Any?
I was
yeah,
almost
can you
tempted to see if I could jump in,
just give me a
but
refresh because I nodded off.
I'm sorry. What did you say? Can you say that again, Tony?
I dozed off. I was just lying here because
Oh, you
yeah, because
did.
of my back. Yeah,
Okay.
I missed
Okay.
some of that first.
Okay. Well, you landed at the space station orbiting Cleando without any incident. Um, the A leader of this planet, Administrator Horatio Kugano, wants to invite your crew for dinner because he saw about your exploits on Fredeo and little excerpts of that show, that morning talk show you did on Flastono. Ronnie went around to try to find out more, and the public information, says that he's an administrator, one of 12 counselors who ultimately rule the planet. He rules the planet, but he doesn't necessarily rule the space station because there's a completely different population of space station maintenance people who take care of the trading laneways of the Verdulan Federation. So the surface people, the locals, are different from the space station people, but he controls the local population on the surface. Um, if you go down to the surface, you might need insect repellent, depending on whether it's summer in the Arctic area, in the Antarctic area there. Um, so you bought some insect repellent cream, apparently 20 credits for the whole crew, in tubes, enough for 8 people for sure. And Ronnie tried to find out more and see. He basically made some underworld red hand contacts to try to see if this administrator is straight or crooked. And as far as a contact he spoke to said, this administrator is straight, not involved with the red hand. So that's all you could find out from one person called the Rhino. And that's that's what's happened in the last half hour or so. Is that good enough?
Oh, yep.
Okay.
I'm just gonna tap into the comms net and see if there's any messages waiting for me.
All right.
Um,
Internet
um,
simple public stuff. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, it's paid for by your docking fees. 100
yep.
credits
But
for 1 month.
also if there's any intelligence incoming as well via the diplomatic channeling.
Right. Okay. Let me see. So Virgil's messages. By diplomatic pouch from the Fridaeans, you get more ample materials about how they want to beef up their local planetary defenses and be kind of independent from the Verdulan colonial marines and all the other people who come from the neighboring planet of Calcaneo to do their defense work. So the robots want to build their own infrastructure on that planet. And
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned it to you offline that they want to try to beef up 3 areas. The first area is site defense, so that means like fortifications and works around the town, their settlement of Rasumo. So that's surface
Yep.
stuff, defenses, maybe turret
Yep.
guns. I don't know what worlds do. The second
Yep.
thing
Yep.
is vehicular defenses. Um, a starship invading or coming down to this planet has to slow down a bit because if it went in too fast, the atmosphere would cause friction and burn it up. And so jet aircraft or fighter jets can almost hold up their own against invading starships. So the
Yep. Based anti-starship weaponry.
anti-starship
Uh,
vehicles, which would probably mean something similar to fighter jets, except maybe more mobile or getting grav assist, like sort of like dynamic air rafts, sort of.
oh yeah.
Um, so
The
they're putting
robots
it
don't have to worry about G-force.
probably not,
No.
but they'd have to be programmed to be pilots, and that may not have been done before for a sentient robot. So
No.
they're putting a pin in
Um.
that. It's a new field,
Oh yep. Um.
and were you going to say something? No.
I might have to maybe settle. I have to think about it and settle and maybe talk to you next week.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We can talk offline
Schedule
sometime.
something.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
basically it's a message from the diplomatic pouch channels from the Fridaeans, and the third area would be training individual robots as enhanced security forces. Willingness to fight and kill, and they'd probably be all gung ho Marines, and they would have a cute slogan such as kill the imposter for Mater Noster, or some catchy slogan like that. They're still working on it.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we'll talk a little more because what this will involve is that if you're a consultant on any of these things, or if you arrange the trade and sale of this military hardware, and it would all be legitimate because you're buying it on behalf of a planetary government, you get commissions. And what you do with the commissions, I don't know if you want to split some with the ship because the Steppenwolf has been enabling your travels back and forth. But if you get too independent, you'd have to travel to and from Frodeo, and that might almost make you an NPC. Yeah, that would make almost make Virgil an NPC. Let's talk about it a little further between sessions.
Yep.
Um, Let me see, and I was
I
going to.
have. I've had some thoughts about right protecting the Mantonoster anyway. There
Uh-huh.
was that I was gonna working on.
Okay. Unless you want to reveal something now to the other players, we can talk about it later. It's up to you. Um, I'm going to mention one
Talk.
or.
Mhm.
Have
What's
some
that?
ideas. I have some ideas, but I just need to flesh them out a bit more before I say anything. Um, but also, can you? Is there any way you can provide me with some ideas for equipment, what equipment's available and stuff like that, so I can start preparing stuff.
Okay. Let me make a note on that and put a pin in that. Ask for ideas on equipment. I'll have to work out
I have
what I'll have to work out what equipment to buy, what the costs are, and what the commission rate would be if you're acting officially as a buyer.
yeah,
All that's to figure
and
out.
I don't have a broker skill, so I might have to bring either Ronnie or Justin in on the conversation at some point, but I don't know. Tomo's
Depends
the
on how
meal.
illegal it is.
Oh, it's all going to be above board.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've heard the conversation that just appeared that I've been having. So, are you there, Brian?
Hmm.
Um,
Yes.
you're pretty much the melee combatant type person, correct?
Yep.
I'm wondering if we could do something like create a fighting style for Mantinosta's personal guards that are melee as a melee based style that we can train them in.
Oh wow, they could build a whole lot of robotic Tomos.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the hell model robots, the heavy lift or hell robots are all pretty much Tomo shaped.
Yes. So we need to work out a martial fighting style for them as his personal guard, but they'll also be trained in weapons as well. But they're basically the ones that will be protecting Mentinosta from another incursion.
These
Then
were
there's
factory robots. You'll have to see if they can master the 50G face kick and moves like that.
yes, but yeah, that was one of the ideas I had, and then maybe I mean if Jerry's such a shit hot pilot, uh, that could be
I think
helping
you
us
cut
helping
off
out.
just at the you cut off just at the wrong time. You're talking about uh, Brogan being a shit hot pilot, and then
Yeah, that maybe we could use him to help train their fighter pilot sort of thing. Ow!
okay, so Brogan fighter pilot training, got it. Okay, a lot of good ideas there.
Help help develop maybe the programming required to do that. So that was an idea that I was just having based off the ERAF thing that you were just mentioned previously.
Okay,
But it means that we're utilizing some of the skills that the group has, and maybe
okay, very good. I think that justifies having a whole off session, maybe on the alternate Friday coming up next. Let, let's book an actual appointment to conference about these things. I also want
maybe
to.
even see if Jerry would come and run broken for that session just as an off session because he knows his character pretty well.
Yeah, if he's actually read things like if he's read other traveler publications, which I haven't, and if he's read the Central Supply catalog,
Yeah.
he might be good for some ideas. Now he works in the off week, so he might not be able to make the next Friday. But the idea is to utilize skills of other PCs.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um,
will involve Jerry. Maybe I'll invite him, but I don't know if he can make the appointment time.
well, even if we do a just the Jerry and myself do a session, sort of part session,
Yeah,
where can all put together the idea and pick his brains along with you just to work stuff out.
sure. Let's brainstorm, and then I can write it down in a more fixed form. Nothing too outlandish, but whatever
Yeah.
can be done
Well,
within reason.
I was
Yeah.
thinking like around the settlement. at about my back. It's twinging.
Okay,
Just
can
thinking, like,
we reintegrate with the rest of the PCs? I have one other email of interest to you to mention.
yep. Can I
The
just can you just give me a couple of minutes? I just need to go to the bathroom,
Oh,
so I'll
okay,
be back in
sure.
about.
I'll get back to you in a few minutes if you want, certainly. Okay,
Back in a sec.
all right. So I'm hoping that all this covers the anything that you want to do before the appointed dinner time. Um, and there's one other email of interest that Virgil received, which is basically okay. It was basically just the conclusion of Operation Cooperate Citadel with the full summary uh, of what information was extracted. Um, Virgil So it's the formal conclusion and the complete summary of the information. Virgil knows that, the captain knows that, Tomo knows that, and probably Ronnie has heard of it as well because the captain said, took Ronnie into his confidence. But the other characters probably don't have all the details. Now, the time approaches to go down to the surface to the town of Chrono. It's actually the only town uh,
Mm-hmm.
only major town on the planet. The other places are small communal or very small family-sized settlements elsewhere. The population distribution around the equatorial region is very, very low, except for the jungle area where there might be some sort of forestry products available. Um, People can travel from the Antarctic area to the Arctic settlements, of which there might be very few, but there's not a whole lot. Town of Chrono, maybe 1,500 or 1,800 population, not very large. Has a central street, the main drag basically, and it has a fancy restaurant which you can approach. Now, you can go down. I don't know if you can go down from the space station to the surface in an air raft. I don't think you can quite do that. Um, but what
Take
you
too long.
Yeah, and you'd have to be wearing spacesuits on the air raft. But what you can do is you can go down in the ship with you fill out you get a permission slip to go from clearance to go from space station to a surface uh, starport. Well, spaceport, not starport. Um, you can land on Chrono. They ask you to pay 50 credits for that. You're basically extending your ability to land or be docked somewhere. So pay 50 credits, surface landing rights, et cetera, et cetera.
All right, it's coming on a ship funds.
Of
50
course. Yeah, of
credits.
course. 50 credits, surface landing rights, town of Chrono. And I'm going to start the new map even if Tony won't see it quite yet. But let me change to the new map. And if it works correctly, I hope that there will be a little sound effect. This is a theme restaurant, or it's trying to imitate an old Earth culture. You'll see in a moment. Here we go. Let me see. I'm going to play that just once. Do you hear it?
There we go.
Yeah, no. But it always takes a while to come through on mine.
Probably. But has
Yep,
the
I
map,
can hear it.
you hear it? Okay, and the map has changed for you. You can probably go down to maybe 70%, 60% zoom. Where's the front entrance to this thing? This is a restaurant which occupies one floor of a building, but it's not the only thing in this building. It's still 1.5 meter squares. Entrance is probably where you see the stairs here, and obviously
That's the back. That's through the toilet. That's through the toilets.
Oops, let me
Surely
see.
this is the entrance over here.
Oh, sorry. The main entrance would be the elevator, and maybe there must be some stairs somewhere as well. But you can come in through the elevator. It's maybe only a 4 or 5 floor building, but the Old Damascus restaurant is here, and you probably have some sort of reception area, and then in a U-shaped area, um, and there's a kind of veranda looking out through different floors in common. So the central area is quite open. You can look up and down a little bit, and there's a safety railing, of course. But the restaurant itself, and the stairs are on the right side if you actually want to take the stairs up to this floor. But in a U shape, you have booths, you have restaurant tables, you even have some billiards apparently, which is part of the restaurant. You come in and you identify yourself as being with the party of the administrator, and let me see. You're directed to a table. It would have to be a table that's large enough. There's a couple of bars. There's big tables, small tables, booths. Let me just try to find a likely place. There's not going to be a firefight here, so positions are not that important. I'm just trying to find a table for about 12 people. Didn't really think things through. There might not be such a thing on the map. But let's say that
Like
you're
the
directed
bar.
over to here, where there's a kind of large enough table. I mean, this table, if it's 3 meters wide, that would be about 10 feet, a table that's 10 feet wide. And you have the administrator and his retinue. There seems to be some sort of um, there's a woman with him, and then there's two guys in dark glasses who are probably security. So that's the administrator's party, and the rest of you fit in here, unless somebody doesn't come down from the doesn't leave the starship.
Can you
Um,
show me just ping the location again? Sorry.
sorry, it would be this table down here at the south end of the map. So
Oh,
you have
okay, this one.
this one. Let me do it again.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. And you don't necessarily have to, I don't know if all your tokens will necessarily fit there. It's a kind of booth. I don't know if I got the scale. I had a question about how much I should stretch this map, but these are 1.5 meter squares, and they should work out to 1.5 meters. Yeah, oops, they're still in feet. Let me just correct that. That's silly. I hate well, I call it the
Wait,
imperial
you hate
system.
the what?
I hate the imperial system, or what you call the U.S. system of measures.
Do you
Feet,
hate
yards.
Americans?
He hates freedom.
We
That's about what
Canada
it
has
is.
changed. Canada has changed since the mid late 70s. They're one and a half
No,
meter squares.
The Americans are just afraid that if they decimalize their foot will become 10 inches long, and all their dicks will get shorter.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
when you
this is
convert,
true.
yeah, when you convert to new food sizes and new bottle formats, you win some and you lose some. We experienced all that in Canada in the late 70s, um, and we still drink our milk from bags. So you have three milk bags, 4 liters in total. And then you have to cut the little tips off the plastic bags, and you cut a tip off the other corner so that
Yeah,
the
we're
air.
not doing that. I'm sticking with gallons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gallon jugs. Okay,
Yeah.
a U.S. gallon is a little less than four
Our milk,
liters.
our milk comes in generally 1 liter, 2 liter,
Yeah.
3 liter bottles.
Okay. I'm going to say at random that Astria on her high pay is not too interested in attending, but Cicely will, and um, Ved will.
Brogan was in the show. We need Brogan on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brogan.
I'll be there, but I won't be with the group.
I
I'll
don't
be
know if you're going to be able to get in then.
I'll put
I
one
don't know.
for you, Virgil. Or actually, and take it for granted that there are. Whoops. Take it for granted that there are also. Oh, I can use press Alt so that I can place people between the grid lines.
I'll be there, but I won't be at the table. I'll be sort of lurking in there.
Really?
I don't.
Sitting at the bar.
Yeah. I don't, just in case shit happens.
Okay. Well, they take you for a kind of security person, so they understand that. The administrator here has two heavies. So the administrator, well, it's just, some guy. I'm going to say that the administrator and his party are where the X is. Let me zoom it up for the home audience to see. So a round table large enough for 10 or 11 or 12. There's 12 of you in all. Or no, sorry, less than that since Sissery is not here. Sorry, Sissery is here, but Astria is not here. Did I put down Sissery?
You put down bed.
Yeah, Ved is here. Sissery, I can put him here somewhere. It doesn't matter too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Who's the seventh one?
7 runs Ronnie, but Ronnie's staying on the ship.
Okay, so Ronnie is staying on the ship. Um, Astria
Brogan's
is
on the
staying on the
ship.
ship. Oh, Brogan is
And I
on the
think
ship too? Really?
No, Brogan's
oh,
here. He was in the show.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So
okay.
the people who are on the show were Brogan, Tomo, RUR. Who else? I think there was some. I think the Captain Wilson was
Yep.
Derwat was in the audience though.
No, I was in the show, but I wasn't in the cooking section.
I see.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was in the audience, so they haven't seen me yet.
Yeah. So Captain, First Officer, and RUR. Is that who it was in the morning show?
Yeah.
Okay.
So do you
So
want to bring RUR is the question?
yeah, yeah. You probably are wearing the same formal wear you did for the show, so your only clean uniform, or something like that, or some insignia with the Argosy Dawn shipping logo. That would have been good
Mm-hmm.
advertising. Okay, so
Joking. I'm going to wear my dress Hawaiian shirt.
you did, yeah, that's what you did
Ah.
at the morning show to look a little fancier. What did you do for the
I,
morning show?
I'm going to get a whole suit Hawaiian shirt material.
Okay, generally,
Stylish.
yeah, you should dress exactly the way you looked like during the morning show, and RUR would have to be there as well. He's a centerpiece of the whole show. That will be a real thrill. Now, I'm going to debate: is it good for RUR to appear in a low population world?
Well, he did appear on the show last time, so I think he should.
Of course. All right, and it's safe to go down to this planet. It's not a
Safer for him than it is for us.
yeah.
Yeah, we got our bug spray, right?
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, you
I
have that.
applied bug spray. I have a cutlass.
It's a
I have a
cream.
Gauss pistol.
Okay. Cutlass, cream, Gauss pistol.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lawless world. A suggestion is that you don't really want to flash too many weapons in front of the administrator and the administrator's guys. Um Generally, it's good
But
manners.
they're flashy weapons. They're like gold encrusted because Wilson's like.
Okay. Uh, all right. All right. So I'll allow it. And
Not Tomo. He just kisses taking these guns.
I think a bit of your sentence dropped out, Brian. Can you say that again?
Tomo just kisses his biceps and says, "I'm taking these guns."
Mm.
Okay. And I was going to try to set the scene. As you can expect, I'm going to run the same little
I've got
music
my
softer.
handy dandy laser pistol and my my armor that's built into my suit, my reflect
Okay.
and ballistic cloth. Very John Wick.
On this planet, a show of weapons really is not impolite or
No,
anything.
no, my weapons
Okay.
are holstered and concealed. They're not. I don't
Yeah.
have them hanging out there.
The decor,
boom.
yeah. Okay, you have weapons out. Okay, the decor here is Middle Eastern, wall hangings, brocade, macrame's, things on the wall, sometimes to resemble a little bit, desert tents. People vaguely remember old Earth cultures and things. It would be Middle Eastern food, but fairly ritzy place. The administrator is there. I don't have tokens for him. He has a woman with him, and he. All this is in the Verdulan language. You're being led there by a server. he gets up and he greets you and he says, "Ah, you're the crew of the Steppenwolf, yes?"
Yes, that's us.
Okay, and he
You
introduces
might
himself.
recognize us from um, Shiro and Riki's show on wherever it was.
On
Yes,
Daily?
Flostono
yes,
television.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
Flastono.
yes, yes. As I said, I saw the news clip of your appearance there and your visit to Flostono and the story of your exploits, which I read from the news nets. We don't get many interesting visitors here on Cliando, so I thought I would invite you. Um, and you have the robot. This is surely an amazing thing. Does it talk?
Are you R67? Do you talk?
And RUR comes up and he says, I do. That is not in question. And the administrator is amazed by that. He says, "Marvelous, marvelous." And then he goes on to mention um introduces his wife, and the wife's name is probably like something like Joanna or something like that. Let's call so the administrator, his wife Joanna, pronounced that way, and uh, he also says these are just two of my security personnel. Uh, is that your security personnel? He motions to Virgil, who's off by the bar area.
Yeah. He's more of
Yes.
a antisocial friend than security.
What? Are you saying that?
Sure, I think that's a less intimidating way to talk about him, other than security.
The administrator was puzzled by that remark, and he suspected a
He, he
mistranslation.
he's he's less security and more antisocial. Don't He's not gonna harm anybody. Don't worry about him.
Ah, okay. Truly, if you say so. All right.
Yeah.
It is to be expected that we must make allowances for different cultures. Um, but he settles in. He motions you to. You have these fancy like menus that are presented to you with calligraphed, vaguely Arabic-looking stuff on it, and fairly expensive items with prices in euros, which come to fairly high numbers for such a small planet. But anyway, he invites you to observe the list. Are you familiar with old Earth foods? Surely your
Um.
chef must be familiar with it.
Yes, I'm.
The big fellow.
Yes. I am.
Ah,
Not every
yes.
culture, but
Well, it's not everybody who knows about these things, but this restaurant acts in the style of that. There's a lot of rice. There's a lot of meats. There's a strange lack of pork. I do not know why.
Oh, I love the piggies. Why no pork?
I don't know. It's a mystery.
That's
Um,
right.
and he goes on and he lets you see a menu, and eventually you can order food and drinks. They place an order as well. He's trying to make some small talk, and he tries to lead. Again, it's because of his interest in unusual people. You come from the frontier. Now, the further away you get from the border, the less known, of course, people might be. But just for the record, Cleando is it one hexagon or two hexagons? Well, it's only two hexagons from the border, whichever way you slice it, whichever direction you come from. So, people from the frontier or frontier descended people are known. And just by the demographics, some people are frontier descended here. Cleando has, okay, 6%. Okay, so frontier people are not unknown. Um, and he talks about where you're from. Um, you tell them the things like you were based on the planet Fentara. You came to trade when trade was liberalized, etc. Um, he gets into other conversations and talk about. He asks about your robot, a sentient robot from the planet Fredeo. Of course, there's a lot of news among the Verdulans about that. Um, he tries to ask things. Is there anything that you want to ask the administrator or his wife?
Oh, well, I don't know, just small talk, nothing in particular.
Okay.
Let's talk business.
Business?
Let's talk business. So, I'm from the frontier, and I'm here doing business for Argosy Dawn, our shipping company. Is there anything that you needed freight? We were looking at going across the Moo Gap.
Are you asking whether they want freight sent to there or whether they want things from there
Send things to there.
to there? Well, he says, "Oh, I'm just an administrator for the communes. I'm a loyal Verdulan citizen. I don't really do so much about the trade. You're talking capitalist things here, which is really it's not so much our focus here in the Verdulan Federation." Uh, and he says that you have the apparatoi to talk to about that. They will direct you to trade. I've heard some stories that there are shortages over there, but we're such a low population world, we don't really have any surplus to send anybody. Sometimes some trades can be made here or there, but I don't know about such things. You'd have to talk to the apparatoi or the merchants guild, or Commerzgildo. So
Hmm.
the evening goes on like that. I think there's just one other important point that he was going to bring up, which I'm trying to remember from my notes. Let me see. Uh, at one point, one of the security people leans over and whispers something to, uh, well, the boss. I think I don't know if his wife is in the way. Maybe his wife got up for a moment, but the security guy leans over to the administrator, and Administrator Kugano frowns a little bit, but then recovers. Um, and let me see. Give me just a moment here for a moment. Where is that sheet?
I'm keeping an eye on the place for
Okay.
any. Yeah, just
What's his
as
wife like?
Can you
Is she
say again?
pretty?
I'm sorry, Tony. Your reception is a bit garbled. Can you say it again?
I asked a question as well. Maybe we talked over each other.
Were you asking a question, Tony? I'm getting not a whole lot from Tony.
Can you hear me, Pierre?
I can hear you okay. I think Tony's local internet might have some trouble.
Tony, you there?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Now I hear you. Were you
Yep.
asking something,
Um,
Tony? It just didn't come across.
yeah, I was just keeping an eye on the. While I'm at the bar. I'm just scanning, just looking casually, make it look like I'm looking around, just taking in the atmosphere.
Okay.
But I'm looking for security concerns
All
and
right.
threats.
Things look pretty
And
okay. Nobody's bothering the administrator. He's got two and only two security men that you know of who are sitting and, of course, are eating lightly. Uh, I don't know how security guys eat because they eat well, except for Tomo. These guys, unlike Tomo, these guys are eating lightly in case they have to do a 100-meter sprint under the traveler rules or something. So nothing special's
which is
happening,
odd for security people.
is it?
Not much happens in this little dump.
Okay, yeah, they're probably not called upon to do, security police style foot chases or anything like that. Probably not called upon to do much, but they're not fat mall cops either. Let's see. Uh,
I just find it odd that they're sitting there eating with the people they're supposed to be protecting.
mhm.
Tony, there's about 10 people on this planet. They all know each other.
Yeah, for the planetary people, there's probably a strong interconnection. There's only a few thousand in this town. You are approaching a situation where everybody knows everybody, like a small southern town. It's not desert conditions here, though. It's pretty polar and cooler, uh, sometimes fairly warm, but more like a human norm. Um, and I was going to ask the point I was trying to research here. I was trying to look through a sheet. Oh, the administrator Kugano says, um, basically, he says a very cryptic remark. Administrator Kugano talks to uh, Captain Derwatt and asks him, "Were you supposed to be coming through here earlier because you had an itinerary and you went to spinward instead of towards us. Were you meaning to come here earlier? Did you have some kind of change of plan?"
No, we had some delays. But I think we arrived right on schedule. Unless you disagree.
Yeah, well, you seem to be trading back and forth like, okay, the reason I heard from this is that, well, we're a close-knit community, and some of the apparatoi over at the station have been talking to some of our people, and apparently you came in from Spinward, you got to Floston, and you bounced right back to Spinward, and then you went back across the border and back to Floston again. You must really like Floston. Or, well, sorry, he
Oh, I
comes from
love Flostono.
Yeah, it seems
Flostono,
like a
yes.
good spot to do trade. So it's a rich world, so
Yeah,
it
so it's
it wants certain. I'm going into capitalism again. This isn't the starter stuff you're interested in, but it's all like trading stuff because
okay.
of
So,
the
You go where the business
rich
goes.
side part. We go
all
where the
right.
business
He
goes.
grins and he
Listen to
says,
the muscle man.
yeah. Okay, he grins and he says, okay, if that makes sense, I'm not one for the, as I say, I'm a loyal civil servant. I'm not one for the trading stuff, and sometimes it can lead to abuses and human pain and misery, unlike in our glorious socialist federation. Uh, but okay, and the conversation goes on pleasantly like that.
Are these security guys like bald, or what do these security
Bald?
guys
No,
look like?
they've got hair,
They
probably
got
their
hair.
own hair. They've got the little earpiece in their ears, the dark glasses. You saw such a security man before on Flostono itself. If I can dig up the picture again,
There's no like
NPCs.
extra added metal pieces, just a earpiece.
No, no. If I know what you're getting at, you are asking if he's some kind
Augment.
of psionic.
Yeah.
Let me see. Huh, I had a picture somewhere here. Uh, NPCs, NPCs. Oh, okay. It was more just a handout. Uh, in the handouts, campaign info on Flostono. Shh. I'm sorry for fuming about just a single handout, but what was his name? Uh, Oh, here he is. Yeah, him. This is the basic security guy look. So that's the sort of person you're seeing. So these are the two people attending with the administrator. So that's the look. Dark glasses, earpiece. Nothing unusual. You know what they're there for. Uh, so the conversation goes on like that. I think what I was trying to find is um, he was. I think he was basically trying to size you up, and he says, um, as administrator here, I can sometimes facilitate a communal contract to move things, but I'm pretty confident that if our commune ever has or communes under my administration ever have to do something, the apparato would get in touch with you as a ship crew. Where would you be heading?
We don't really have plans. We just had some freight that was heading this way. Um,
So you're not sure yet?
so we're not sure yet.
See, this is the nature of our business, and also our, remember our arrangement with the
Are you saying this to
Federation government.
Are you saying this to
Yeah,
him?
yeah. So we sort of we're trying to start and find new trade routes. I mean, that's why they've let us in here to the glorious Federation.
Okay. All right. So he seems satisfied with that. No, no danger signs. Virgil doesn't notice any problems. The security guys are pretty calm looking. They're still sitting at the booth with the rest of you. You have a meal, fancy exotic foods from an ancient Earth culture. That's pretty much
I
all
think
that
we might be
happens.
going farther into Vidulan space. Maybe loop around the mood gap. You have any information about those worlds for us?
Oh, okay. Well, yes, he is aware of the other worlds, but just from the perspective of, what the industries are, what the communes are, and he sort of hints at, shortages. But you know how a politician gets when he doesn't want to admit that the system is failing? He doesn't really come straight out and flat out and says there are shortages. He says there might be opportunities to fulfill needs, but he sort of uses circuitous language or circular language, which means he's sort of circling the point without actually saying it. So
Mm-hmm.
he's trying to be political because he wants to look like a loyal Verdulan socialist. So here's where you see the true face of um, a Verdulan politician. He doesn't really come flat out, but he says that there may be opportunities for you. He says he doesn't really know that kind of stuff. He has
Would there
relations
be
that.
any particular shortages that we could help with in the short term?
Ooh, did you say the word shortages out loud?
Well, didn't he say the word
He
shortage?
didn't say the
No,
word
no. He
shortages. Don't
was
say the word
he
shortages.
was sort of
Is there
dancing around the
any?
language. He was sort of, it's like in the Dune novels when they don't directly say what they're thinking.
What
They
was the
just,
word he used then? Sorry, I
uh,
must have misheard.
well, he mentioned about trade opportunities. He mentioned that many worlds have a different distribution of goods, different distribution of communes. He's not saying flat out there are shortages, but he's saying that every world is different. He says that trade is not his area of knowledge. You should talk to the apparato. But he never said there have been shortages.
He's
And
talking about the great material continuum.
the what?
The great material continuum.
Okay, yeah, you're okay. Great material continuum. Your voice sort of cuts off
Yes,
a little bit.
there are thousands. Everybody has too much of something and not enough of another.
Okay, Yeah, but he'd be kind of offended if you went flat out and said words like shortages or deficiencies in the system, because as a Verdulan politician, he doesn't want to admit to such things. So you may offend, you may your choice of language may be a little abrupt for him. So he says, well, he again repeats that he wouldn't know such things. He's the most focused on local conditions. He can tell you maybe what's currently in a surplus, but he only controls a part of the planet. He's part of a council of an administrative council of 12 people. Um, and his wife almost became one of these counselors, but that looked too much like nepotism, so the deal fell through. Um, and he says that basically he leaves it up to the apparatoi. If you want to talk trade, talk to the apparatoi who work for the Merchants Guild. Okay, any other thoughts
All
or
right.
questions? Any other conversation? You haven't offended him. He's made certain allowances that you are strangers and your Verdulan may not be perfect and your culture may be different. So he has been very, very accommodating like that, and the time sort of goes pleasantly. And after a while, you can take your leave. Um, Now, you did unload all your cargo at Cleando. Um, we may be going into the next day here, day 138, 139, 140. Oh, sorry, no, 139. Yeah, you probably get into day 139 now, but the time on the surface may be a little different. A starport is probably going to an orbiting starport is probably going to use uh, galactic time anyway. So we're day 139. Uh, Basically, he said shortages, never heard of it. He's trying to be political and diplomatic. But the conversation goes by pleasantly. You haven't offended. He hasn't offended you, hopefully. Um, and the dinner ends, and you can take your leave and move away. Uh, if you go down the elevator and down to the street level, um, I'm just going to roll for insect bites just for fun, because if you get bitten, you have then a small chance to, get some sort of allergic reaction since you're complete foreigners to this world. So just for fun, I'm going to have everybody roll, I guess it would be the endurance.
Cream up, guys.
Yeah, everybody does endurance rolls, and of course your dice modifier will be added automatically. Just hit endurance. And I'll roll
Oh, I
for
might
the
not have enough cream on me.
Can you do my roll for me, Pierre? I'm horizontal at the moment. I don't
Okay,
want to get up.
certainly, certainly. And I have to do the NPCs as well. Oh, and I didn't figure out I didn't figure the effect of the cream, so I'll figure that in too. Sorry. Again, this is a little fancy of mine. Okay, Tomo rolls. Captain Derwatt rolls. Astria and Virgil have rolled. Oh, Astria wasn't there. Sorry, that's a mistake.
So,
Astria
Ved
just
and
Brogan.
Brogan.
Ved and Brogan. Okay, so Brogan is there. Ved is there. Anybody
And
else
then
rolls?
RUR.
Aryar is a mechanical. He doesn't care about insect bites. What are you talking about?
I don't think he's going to get bitten.
An insect will short circuit on one of his transistors,
He might
and
not get bitten, but he may get a bug.
a computer bug. Yeah, a physical bug. Computer bugs used to be physical bugs that got into the vacuum tubes or whatever. They used to be real bugs. Let's
Indeed.
see. Does that cover everybody on the surface? Brogan, Wilson, Virgil.
You rolled Brogan twice.
Oops, did I? Who did I
No
mean to roll?
Ved.
Okay. Now, none of these rolls are tremendously low because the cream also takes care of it. And sorry, Astria was rolling the lowest, but She wasn't there. Captain Durward, you only have a roll of 5 in endurance.
Yeah,
Do you? Okay.
they're all bad.
If
Yeah.
there's a bug on them, if there's a bug, slap.
Okay. Well, all I'm going to say is, Captain Durward, roll 2d6 and avoid a
boy.
2 or a 3 or even a 4 if I'm feeling nasty.
Phew.
Okay, you rolled a 6. So you actually have felt an insect bite, and I don't know how long it's been since you've been bitten by a
Oh,
mosquito or
I'm
any.
scratching, guys.
Yeah. Oh, it's not an allergic reaction, but you have been bitten enough to realize it's a novel situation. But as far as you can tell, you don't have any ill effects. The cream did not quite repel all the insects possible, and it's sort of the summery season here. But that's okay. That's all I was going to do just for fun. Um, and you can still get some medical attention even if you did have allergic reactions. Sometimes it,
Estria, I'm dying.
yeah, sometimes it happens with strangers. Okay. Apart from that, nothing else happens of note at this dinner. You can make your way back up. Oh, one more thing that happens. Let me see. Who has the lowest social standing here?
Me.
Probably Tomo.
Tomo. Okay.
My
You're
social
yeah,
standing is 3.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Are your tattoos showing?
No, I'm wearing a suit.
You're wearing a suit. Okay.
Well,
He's
I'm
Here.
wearing
wearing a
good
nice
clothes.
Hawaiian suit.
Okay. Well, here's what you notice. You notice some kind of low life off on a street corner. Street corner is next to an alleyway. Well, it's a kind of street corner with an alleyway not far from the street corner. And he's sort of hanging half in the street, half in the alleyway, and he seems to be scanning the street all the time, just like Virgil does when he's acting as security or sort of looking around. But he seems to have scanned and noticed you. Uh, you notice him. He looks like somebody from a criminal element. Do you want to do anything about it?
No, I'll just get between him and the rest of the party.
Okay. Okay. Let me see. Well, this guy decides to put his hands in his pocket, and he's a lanky sort of guy wearing some kind of summer weight cheap suit, and he's got a toothpick in his teeth. He's got greasy black hair. Uh, he's wearing a suit just barely, but it's a cheap suit. He approaches your group, and he tries to talk in future English like you, and he says, "You are not from around here, are you?"
I'll just say, no, we're not.
Ah, you a crew with the starship?
We are.
Ah, is good, is good. Are you interested in jobs?
Yeah, we're always interested in jobs, but you'll have to calm our captain.
Which of you is captain?
Oh, I'm
Do you
so
guys want to
itchy. Oh,
do you,
these
do you
bugs.
want to
Oh.
do you want to do you want to talk to him?
Yes, yes.
No, I want Astria.
That's
Ast
our captain. He's been bitten by a bug.
Astria is back on the ship, and the ship is on the surface, though. Why do you want Astria?
Because Astria can help with the bug bites.
The bug bite is a tiny mosquito welt on your skin, and it might itch a little bit if you leave it alone. If you don't leave it alone, it'll itch more. It's a typical mosquito bite. It's not doesn't have any other negative effect as
I
far as you
gotta
can
leave
see.
it alone,
Yeah.
but it's terrible.
Yeah. Are you starting to whine and moan about one mosquito bite?
Yeah.
You are? Oh,
I,
okay.
I, I'm a rich guy. I'm not used to mosquito bites.
Is is your captain is he ill? This greasy
He's
guy
been
asks.
bitten by a bug. And I'll go bzzz, make a bug noise and sting, on his arm or something, on my arm,
He's
and point at him,
the
at the captain.
yeah. This greasy guy in a cheap suit laughs a bit and he says, "Is that really your concern?"
Yeah, he's otherwise occupied.
He's worried about that. Do you not have these bugs elsewhere? Oh, I guess you don't. You really are from other world. He's funny. We don't worry
I
about
think
those
so.
You know,
things.
I'm in hyper security mode, and I'm looking for his friends just in case they're going to try and roll.
He's not with anybody else, if that's what you're asking. He was on his own.
But I'm just
So do you have a
looking.
contact? Do you have a contact? You got a way we can talk to you?
Oh yes, yes, yes. And he produces a sort of a slightly crumpled business card or slightly warped business card from his uh, suit pocket. It's got a name and uh, it basically translates to. He doesn't give you a real name on the card. On the card, it basically says, if you read the Verdulan letters, the Weasel, and then a local com number. And he said, and there's a slightly printed slogan in raised text, italics, that says, uh, uh, "Let's make a deal."
Yeah, sounds like he's a broker to me.
Yeah, he
Okay,
might be.
we'll contact you.
Okay, so you meet him outside restaurant. Okay, so he gives you a card. I'll just say he gives PC's business card. You can make your way back to the Steppenwolf, where Captain Derwatt can get some medical assistance for his serious
I'm dying.
serious wound.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and Astria is going to sort of say, what are you talking about?
Basically, I think she's just going to turn around and call them
It's a rash.
out.
It gave me a rash. It's spreading.
Yeah. Is it on your, is it, well, can you tell me, is it on your arm or somewhere else? Arm,
Yeah, it's right
leg,
here. I'm gonna say
buttock?
it's on the arm. We're not
Yeah.
gonna go into weird, complicated
No.
stuff. I'm not taking off my
Mostly it
clothes
would be
or
your
whatever.
hand or your arm or your head that was exposed, if anything. And you've applied
Yeah.
cream more or less in most places that you were given. But as I said, it's only partially successful. And you rolled so low, but okay. Dr. Astrid Gaydon looks at that and she locates the mosquito bite somewhere on your left arm. And she said, "Really,
Hmm.
sort of like I'm trying to speak like Jen would. Really, you're gonna you're basically raising the 5 alarm fire for this. Really?
There could be venom. We don't know what's on these bugs. It's a rash. It's a very small rash, but it's still a rash. As I'm scratching at it
Don't scratch
manically,
at it." Astria says, "Don't scratch at it. What are you talking about?"
it itches.
Well, so what? It's not very large. It's only going to get worse if you scratch it.
I try to stop scratching.
Okay, Astria sighs. She goes into her med bay area. She looks for something. I think she's trying to adapt an analgesic liquid usually used for toothache, and she's trying to adapt it. She looks at her computer monitor for a little bit and says she sort of pours a tiny amount of this analgesic liquid in a jar with a tiny brush on it, or one of those tiny heads, and she says, "Okay, look, just apply this every few hours, and you probably won't feel like itching at all. And if you leave it alone, it goes down. Um, I don't think it's an unusual allergic reaction or anything. It's just like an insect bite from other worlds." And she's looking up insect bite data. She says, "No, this is nothing to worry about." She gives you a tiny jar with a tiny applicator brush in it, and you can just put it
Like a
over the
spider
mosquito bite.
bite.
Spider bites, insect bites, other
So
things.
because we had these black spiders on my home planet with little red triangle on their butts, and they can kill people
That could be
if you
bad.
don't get
What do you do
medical
for those?
attention. Is
What do you
my
do
arm
for those?
gonna fall off?
I don't think so. Is it, you know, uh, I think if you played the piano before, you'll still be able to play the piano. Uh,
Okay.
just apply this every 3 hours, and you should be all right. Don't bother me with this stuff. This is crazy. I don't
You're our
see.
doctor.
Well, talk to me if it gets worse.
Okay.
And the analgesic thing, as you expect, does provide relief. You put it into the little welt of the mosquito bite, it goes down. Astria just rolls her eyes like Jen would do verbally. Okay, so you're back on the ship. You can make your way back up to well, the space station is where the trades would occur, trading center, but it's an open sandbox if you have suggestions for any other actions. I know there's big silences and pauses because there's just 4 players today. We have about half an hour of play left. If you're
Uh,
lucky, we'll get to the next
well, I
stage.
think we should calm this guy back and just see what they've got on offer.
Yeah, okay.
I'll pass it over to Ronnie because he can talk to these guys
Do you do
further.
this while your ship is on the surface or when your ship is back up at the space station?
Oh, I think we should do it straight away.
On the surface?
So
Yeah,
this is probably happening while I'm getting the
yes,
Sure,
pretty much.
ointment or
sure.
whatever.
Okay, who wants to make the call? Tomo?
No, I think Ronnie should do it.
Ronnie?
He's got
Okay.
more streetwise than me. I've only got like streetwise 0.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Okay, so Ronnie can sort of talk the lingo if this guy is a more seedy underground person. Whoops, excuse me, just a moment. Ah, okay. Um, all right, well, Ronnie, this can be handled as role playing, and there'll be a roll or two, obviously, one roll of streetwise in there. Let me just get your sheet.
I'm good at that.
I was getting way too comfortable there, but I'm not the one with the backache. Uh, Let me see. Okay, less comfortable, more alert. Um, okay, so you can ring this guy. As I said, his alias was the Weasel, and that's what it says on his printed business card. You dial the comm number. You're more or less allowed to patch into the local phone numbers, and you get a ring or two. And I'm gonna say it's the same guy, same voice, and he says, "Yeah, start talking."
Okay, what am I calling this guy about?
His name is the
Potential
Weasel, and he said that he has
work.
certain business opportunities, which you believe are illegal business opportunities.
Oh, all right.
And
So yeah, say, hey, I heard you had some business for us.
can you speak a little louder, Ronnie?
Oh, I said, yeah, I heard you have some business for us.
And he manages to talk English, well, halfway well. Did you start talking in English or Verdulin?
Um, English is Ronnie's first language, so probably yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, the guy doesn't seem to have too much trouble with that, and he says, "Yes, yes, business is very possible. I need to know where are you going?"
Oh, we're going up deeper into Verdun in space. We're probably going to round the Moo Gap,
Yes. Okay. So
or
is
possibly go through it.
aha. Okay. Let me let me then go to the star map. Oops. Okay, going away from the restaurant
I
map back
figure
to
if
the
he's I
sector
figure if
map.
he's with the red man, he knows you can go across it.
Yeah. Well, he knows the local systems for, of course, several parsecs out. Um, and of most interest, he says, well, he seems to be slightly saying, well, you see, there are worlds like Paziento, Arastino. Oh, by chance, would you be headed in the direction of Certolo?
Let me look at the map.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, yes, and yes.
Aha, he is very good, very good. Yes, yes, we may have a certain cargo for you, which might demand the greatest of discretion. Is word. Yes, how
Discretion
you
is
say
our business.
discretion.
Yes, exactly.
Ah, it's very good. And the captain would be willing to ship a cargo, and he names he names a certain kind of cargo, and I'm looking at the uh, illegal section of the trade table. um, let me see. Yeah, what he's suggesting is something about excuse me. He's actually talking about um, he seems to be talking about illegal luxuries,
Yeah.
and he says that he wants to ship a shipment of 4 tons of illegal luxuries over to Kertolo, but that's some distance away. He quotes a figure that he wants to pay you not the usual freight rates, but several times the freight rate. And he mentions something like 7,500 credits. Well, it's going to work out to 15,000 euros, but in your currency, it would be about 7,500 credits per ton per parsec. 4 tons of illegal biochemicals to Curtolo, but he wonders if you actually can handle that as freight all the way over there.
Um, how many tons do you say?
4 tons.
Oh, I think we can handle 4 tons. Yeah.
Okay. You are not the captain. Do you
No, I
want
am
to
not.
talk to the captain?
I could, I could ring him up and get him on the line if you want to talk to him. I'll call the captain up, see if I can get
Okay.
him over.
Does Ronnie want to talk to Captain Durwatt privately or in a conference call with the Weasel?
I think it's fine if he wants to jump in on the line, but that's up to him.
Justin?
Just what is it, Ronnie?
The question, first of all, is do you
Yeah,
want to be cut in on the conference call or do you want to talk to Ronnie privately? Out of
yeah,
earshot of the
I don't
Weasel.
care.
Don't care?
talk to
Okay.
What does Ronnie want to do?
all right. Well, I'll just say the guy's got 4 tons of goods for us to go across the Moo Gap. He wants to pay 7,500 credit per ton. We good with
7,500 per
hauling that?
ton per parsec.
I'm not going to ask
Per
any more
person.
questions. Sure, we're good with that.
Yeah, all right. 7,500
I don't need to
tons.
know the details, Ronnie.
Yeah.
We're good with that.
Okay.
We're just
Okay.
going to
Good
avoid
point.
the
All right,
locals.
then yeah. I'll tell him. Yeah,
Ronnie,
we're on.
did he say, Ronnie, did he say across the gap or around the gap?
Oh, he knows. It's fine. But yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you can't tell if the Weasel knows about the fuel depot at Hex
No, that's
1215.
right.
You don't
So
know.
that would
Shady
be
rumors and
Oh,
stuff.
I see what you're getting at, but he's only paying for the linear distance as the crow flies.
Yeah.
Actually,
okay.
that's
So
a
that's
good
one,
question.
two, three, four. or 5.
Yeah, it's a,
It'd be
but,
5 parsecs straight, but it's a good question whether he's willing to pay for. If you pretend that you have to do that much of a path, you'd be
That's
going
1,
through 7
2, 3,
hexes.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 hexes.
8 hexes?
Yes.
1,
1,
2,
2.
3,
Yeah, it's
4,
4
5, 6, 7.
jumps.
Yeah, okay. 4 jumps at 8 hexes. Okay.
This way is 2, 4,
Yeah, it's only
6.
3 weeks away if you use the hidden fuel depot. All right, that's really cute. Let me
yeah, but
see.
will he go for it? I will try to put that past him and see if he goes for it.
Split the difference.
Okay.
7 and a half.
No, he'll put it to him. If the guy says, "Yeah, that's fine,"
Or
then
6 and a
we just
half.
make a whole lot of we just make
Yeah.
extra freight for nothing.
Yeah,
Well, he seems to hint that 7 parsecs is too much. He's willing to pay for a freight path of 5 parsecs, and then he winks at you.
okay, yeah, he's heard about it. We're right in the smuggling lane here, so he knows what's up. All right, 5 it
Okay.
is.
Yeah, without saying so, it's that sort of circular talk I'm talking about. He doesn't actually come flat out and say it, but he talks
Yeah, I
circularly. But
know.
He's agreeing to,
From the whole stuff.
uh, yeah, and it's 7,500 credits per parsec per ton, and he's agreeing on a 5 parsec trip, which is for 5 tons.
150,000.
Let me just, of course, whip out my calculator. I'm sorry if I seem to be slowing down the game with a calculator.
That's 150,000.
Yeah, okay. Times 5
Is
parsecs
it? Where'd
times
you get
5
that?
tons.
Well, 5 or 4.
Oh, sorry, 4 tons. You're right. I wrote 4 tons. I'm counting 5
Ooh,
twice, but it should be 4. 4 tons, 5 parsecs, 7,500 per parsec, which is not quite the 10,000 per parsec you were offered elsewhere, but the total would be 150,000 credits if you're willing to take on the job. So secrete 4 credits on your ship. It doesn't have to be necessarily in your open cargo bay, but secrete these crates on your ship and you get 150,000. Now, of course, he confides in you a contact at Curtolo who will pay you upon arrival. Let me see. If you want some payment in advance, if you're hard up, he could arrange probably half in advance, and then he'll wire his contact on Curtolo to only pay you the other half. So if you're hard up for money, he can
I
offer
think
you to
it's
that.
fine.
But it's 150,000 total.
Yeah,
No, we should be good.
Okay.
yeah. 4 tons, that's a good pay.
Yeah. Speak up a bit more, Ronnie.
For 4 tons, that is good pay. We're going to
Okay.
be carrying more stuff than that.
Okay. Very good. So that you don't have anything else left in your hold now, just these 4 tons. So put 4 tons illegal biochemicals to Curtolo. Um, okay. We'll pay a total of
4
150,000
tons of freight.
as freight.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Now the place is so corrupt. He seems to be hinting again with the circular conversation. He seems to be hinting that forging of papers and making the cargo look like something else legitimate from one of the communes here is very easy. They have inns all over the planet with different communes, so not a problem. That's what he says. And you don't have anything else in the Steppenwolf's hold at the moment. You emptied it out. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so 59 tons of space left. Do you want to try a
Yeah, fill
legitimate
that up.
trade?
Yeah, we need
Sure.
legitimate stuff
Otherwise, I
to
was.
cover up the illegal.
Sorry,
Yeah.
yeah, you're
Otherwise, I was thinking of just doing um, fuel. See if we can just get cans of fuel, and then we could sell that on the to the fuel depot people, and then we wouldn't have to refuel there necessarily.
You mean
Oh,
like pick up a big fuel bladder
Yeah.
and fill up the cargo hold with with 40 whatever it is tons of
Just
Ah,
hydrogen.
extra fuel.
Yeah.
okay. That's an interesting question, but you haven't made contact with anybody from the fuel depot or representing the fuel depot. They certainly ship fuel in, and they're selling it at 4 times the market price, which has been, very evenly spread all over the galaxy almost. But there they charge 2,000 credits a ton for refined fuel. Um, so you want to buy fuel there and sell it to them at maybe whatever it is, 1,500, or yeah, and then they make a profit by selling it for 2,000. You want to do something like that?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. Um, that's an interesting
'Cause-
question because if you ship,
There is one other thing we could do though, boss, and listen to this as an option.
uh-huh.
We could, if we want to save time, we could fill up the hold with fuel in a fuel bladder, enough for 2 jumps. So we load up our tanks, jump to the
Yeah.
this place, yep, and then maybe jump here,
Yeah, probably here.
fill up again, just in case we have to do a jump out very quickly. I don't know.
Fill up on the
Just
main world or fill up on the gas giant?
Yeah, like I don't know. I'm starting to get the heebie-jeebies about this whole mission.
No heebie-jeebies. It's gonna be easy.
there's actually a mention of fuel bladders in the Traveler core book Mongoose, but it's goes by a slightly different name called collapsible fuel tanks. Uh, I'm copying and pasting the text from the into the Discord chat. Collapsible fuel tanks, also called fuel bladders, are large flexible bladders that expand when filled with hydrogen fuel. They take up cargo space in the ship and are used to extend range without the need to fit demountable tanks. Fuel cannot be pumped directly from these tanks to the jump drive, and so a ship must complete a jump before it can use fuel stored in the collapsible tanks. When empty,
Yeah,
collapsible tanks take up 1% of the tonnage when full. They cost 500 credits per ton. That's the tank cost. I don't know of any stretchy material that would try to hold in the liquid hydrogen at the pressure of liquid hydrogen, but there you go. That's what it says. And so I think you can actually swing an equipment cost because 500 times 40 is what, 1,000 times 20. So a 40-ton collapsible fuel tank in your hold would
Mm-hmm.
be 20,000 credits, or it
And
could be
that
a
would be
series of
another jump
collapsible
too,
fuel
right?
tanks. Yeah. So
Where's our current fuel?
if you
yes.
are
And when
to,
it's not in use, it takes up a certain amount of space, but it is collapsible. So
uh-huh. But it says here that fuel can't be pumped directly from these tanks to the jump drive, so a ship must complete a jump. Oh, okay. So empty your jump drive or empty your fuel tanks before transferring things from the collapsible fuel tanks. Um, so if you do that, you won't have to stop and buy the fuel at the fuel depot at all, but you're gonna pay 20,000 to have the fuel tanks, assuming it's available here at all. This is a small planet, starship level B. Uh, Jerry's around. Send a message to him.
I mean, if we've got to fill up 40,000 credits of 40 tons of fuel at 2,000 credits, that's what,
Well,
8,000?
Yeah, but we're getting a discount.
No, hang on, 40 times 2,000. Yeah, that's God. My brain is starting to go to sleep.
40 tons and 500 credits per ton of fuel tank makes 20,000 credits to buy the collapsible fuel tanks,
Yeah,
also called
but to
bladders.
fill up our, but how much did you say the refined fuel was at the secret base?
The refined
2,000.
fuel sells for 2,000 credits a ton.
Okay, well, it would cost us 80,000 to fill up the tanks.
Yep.
Well, except
Well,
you
we
can
half
get
that.
water for free and then refine it and then put it in the collapsible fuel tanks.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
that.
So if we spend 20,000 on the collapsible fuel tanks,
We would be saving
60,000 in advance.
40,000. We would be
60,000.
saving,
Yeah. But you're not selling it to them necessarily at the full price they're selling it. They want to make a
No,
profit.
forget selling it. Forget selling it to them.
Ah,
We just use it for fueling our ship for the next jump,
yeah. Okay.
and we've saved 60,000. A bit of prep work here first.
Yeah. I think you're figuring the economics wrong because you can get water. The planet has surface water. It has a gas giant.
Yes,
If
I
you
realise that, but not here. This place
no,
here
not here.
doesn't.
Okay.
that place.
And so
No.
so if we go there, we've either got to carry our own fuel or buy theirs. If we buy
Right.
theirs, it's 80,000 to get to our next jump.
That's right. Half of it is subsidized though. Mr. Liu promised to pay you 40,000 if you have to buy fuel at the fuel depot.
Yeah, but
40
when I listened to Mr. Lou. All right, let's try to find it. Let's try to find some fuel.
collapsible tanks.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
As
a
I
B
said,
class starport.
B-class starport, and okay, I don't think there's any note here clearly about availability, but here's the thing. You're looking for a seller or somebody who has 40 tons worth of collapsible fuel tank. Or it can be 2 tanks of 20, 4 tanks of 10, doesn't matter. You can interconnect them. Let me see. Okay, this is good. This is sandboxy stuff. Okay, now you can make a broker roll. It can be assisted because you can fan out. More than one person can fan out in more than one place and find out if there's a seller of collapsible fuel tanks. You figure out what that is in Verdulin, or you can ask what it is. And I wonder if the translator will actually tell me just for fun. Sorry about this. The GM has to have his moments of fun too. Perverse fun. Collapsible fuel tank. Ah, okay.
Okay, I've just walked out. I've just walked outside to look for my dogs, and I found my dog, and he's eating. He's caught himself a rabbit.
Oh dear. Yeah, you live on a farm.
Well, those aren't native there,
and shit happens.
so that's good.
Oh no. I mean that's good. I like it when my dogs feed themselves.
Yeah, I'm not sure the ladder is economically worthwhile if Mr. Liu is going to if Mr. Liu is going to subsidize us. The bladder might be more costly than just buying fuel.
Well, if you
No,
have
the
to,
bladder is only gonna be 20
yeah, if you have to buy
20,000.
if you have to buy a bladder, it's 20,000. The 40
Okay.
tons of fuel is normally 40 tons of refined fuel is normally 80,000 credits, but Mr. Liu was I keep thinking of Dr. Lee from the other game.
I thought fuel was 500. I thought fuel was 500 a ton.
Refined fuel is 500 credits a ton. 40 tons
Yeah.
makes or sorry, 40 tons times 500. What does that make?
Would be
15,000.
20.
Oh, did I get it
30
wrong?
tons?
Yeah, what did I?
No,
what did I
you're
say?
right. They just got a
Oh no, the
times
prices
4
are higher.
markup.
The prices are higher at the fuel depot. It's 2,000 credits per ton at the fuel depot.
Yeah.
So a load of
Exactly.
40 tons at 2,000 credits per ton is 80,000 credits there. If you buy a fuel bladder and carry your own fuel, you're paying 20,000. Well, Mr. Liu was going to subsidize you so that the price of a load of fuel would only be 40,000 at the fuel depot. But if you spend 20,000, you get a fuel bladder, so you're saving 20,000.
Okay,
Is
that
it worth
works.
the effort?
Yes.
I
It
think it
is.
is, and that also gives us we've got a fuel bladder there that we can use, in the future.
Okay.
I mean, it takes up a bit of cargo space. I mean, I don't know how much it is, what it collapses down to, but I can't see it being much more than a ton,
Do
1%.
math,
couple of
not war
tons.
crimes, Tomo.
Yeah, it would be handy to have that.
A collapsed fuel tank that holds 40 tons becomes 0.4 tons of space when collapsed. That's a real good number.
That's a nice number because then we can just say, oh, we're half a ton of space is taken up.
It's pretty large, like it occupies a large closet or two, but no more than that. That's really good. So it collapses to 1% of its full volume. Volume of 40 tons becomes a 1%, which is 0.4 tons. And the term in Verdulen is Faldebla Brulajuyo, which means a foldable container of fuel. Faldebla Brulajuyo.
Let's get one of those.
Okay, so
I need an FB.
you can okay, give me a broker roll +1 because actually broker roll +1 because you have both the surface and the starport that you can ask around for, and probably another +1 if somebody else can assist with a broker roll, like again Ronnie or maybe one of the NPCs can do it. Can you make a broker roll,
Gotcha.
Ronnie?
And there we
Ronnie, trust me, it's worth it.
go. Just
It
missed.
just seems like your heart's not in it, man.
Well, not quite, or he
Yeah.
might have too much ground to cover. I don't know if you sent Ronnie up space side or if Ronnie's doing the surface. Everybody's willing to help, but maybe they just don't find anything available, or for whatever reason. Uh, Captain Derwatt's roll is successful. Um, you do find a collapsible fuel tank. You're not really buying it new, but it's a fairly resilient, flexible design that doesn't really show much wear. Um, a mechanic type would probably want to inspect the whole surface of this 40-ton thing, fold by fold. He would be unwrapping it like a huge
Or do
book
a
to make
pressure test on it.
pressure test or integrity test, making sure there are no.
Sure, we got 40 tons of fuel. Let's just pump it in there.
Wait, you want to
What
pump in
can
the
go
fuel
wrong?
before testing the
No, just
surface of this? Yeah,
pump, pump, pump air into it and just make sure it doesn't leak.
okay, you can arrange that. Now that would take some kind of engineering or mechanical role. I'm gonna say,
Good thing we've got
We need
engineers.
some Ved. We
Yeah.
need some Richard
Just
in here.
coat it with soda that makes bubbles if there's a leak.
yeah, that's the one way. Like you're thinking about it like a giant bicycle tire, aren't you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Where are we gonna get 40 tons of bowl?
Well,
No,
you
you put
have
the
kind of
bubbles
a
on the
large
outside.
surface area to smear with soapy water or something similar to
Yeah,
soapy
sure. It
water.
might be impractical.
Uh, I imagine there's a fairly standard way of testing these things.
Yeah, yeah. If it's too slippery with the soapy water, it might slide right out of your cargo bay. But I'm thinking about some kind of engineering role. No, no, you're just involved with the drives. Um, it is a
Pattern Siri.
yeah, it's a fuel issue, so it does have kind of things. So what I'll allow is either engineering or mechanical roles.
Excuse me.
Captain Dur.
I could make a sensor roll on it.
Oh, okay. If you're testing, yes, that's what you can
Yeah.
do. Uh, but I'm going to give you
I still
my.
think this is a mechanical test.
Okay, I'm going to allow any character to do it as a mechanical test or a sensor test. if you're doing it as a sensor test, put down -1 just because you have to adapt the sensor equipment to, instead of examining far away things, you're examining surface stuff. So it's like adapting, or even a medical tricorder could be adapted, but a tricorder is too small, doesn't cover too much of an area at once. So I'm looking for a very quick roll of one of those kinds.
Well, the best mechanics we got on board is Brogan and the captain.
What? My best mechan? I'm
Yeah,
best
you
at
got
mechan?
you've got 0 plus 2
Yeah, because of your
apparently.
dice modifier.
Yeah,
So
and
Brogan is 2.
the captain's got 0 plus 2.
Yeah, Brogan is 2. The captain is 2 total. Do you both want to make a roll? I'll roll for Brogan mechanic.
Sure, let's let
Okay.
Brogan work first.
Well,
It's me against Brogan.
yeah,
We'll
you want
see who
to.
comes out on top.
Okay. So you're sort of making it a macho contest, in other words.
Yep.
All right, Brogan rolls mechanic.
Nice.
What do you mean there's a hole there? There's nothing there. It's fine.
Brogan beats you,
Fuck you,
but you
Brogan.
both have something to contribute because there's just so much volume of this thing. So you can purchase this. Well, if you purchased it for 20,000 credits already, so mark off 20,000 credits as the cost of the collapsible fuel tank. I just love saying it in Verdulan. Faldebla brula juyo. So you buy it for the equivalent of 20,000 credits. You test it, and it has no leaks or problems. It's going to hold, the way it flexibly opens, it still holds pressurized hydrogen, 40 tons. If you have 40 tons of cargo space, now the little tricky part is in laying out, arranging the fuel tank on your cargo hold where the cargo hold will fit. Cargo hold is a certain height and therefore a certain width and so on. So you adapt the tank to that. But you can channel 40 tons of refined fuel in it, and you're going to save at minimum 20,000 credits. And that's if you, or actually, if you, yeah, you pay 20,000 credits, and that collapsible fuel tank can be reused. So that's a very good thing. If you don't mind wasting a large part of your cargo hold, uh, you can extend your jump range or your need for fuel. You're still doing jump twos. Okay, so very good. You can make that purchase and you can go ahead and do that. But I think we're at the end of the session now. It's exactly 4 hours in, or 3.5 hours whenever we started. Does anybody have any parting thoughts? It's a good, quiet place to stop this session.
I just think I don't know. I am getting the heebie-jeebies. Something's going to happen at Kurtolo.
You think?
Could
Like
be.
what?
I think Virgil's machinations might catch up with us.
Okay. All right, I'm going to end the game. I thank you very much for your participation. It's perhaps a little hard because of having only 4 players, but I'm going to stop the recording now.